They say the most important moments in life don't announce themselves. They don't come with warnings or preparation time. They just happen sudden and unexpected, like a collision in the dark. For Elon Musk, that moment came at 2:17 in the morning in a factory parking lot. He was running on no sleep, drowning in problems too big to solve, reading tweets from people who wanted him to fail. He wasn't looking where he was going, and that's when he crashed into her. A night shift janitor. A woman whose name he didn't know. Someone he'd probably walked past 100 times without seeing. He expected a quick apology, maybe an awkward moment, then back to his impossible life. Instead, she said 7 words that would change everything. 7 words that would save his life and her own in ways neither of them could imagine. But here's what Elon didn't know that night. She wasn't trying to inspire him. She wasn't offering wisdom or advice. She was talking to herself, reminding herself of something she desperately needed to remember, something about survival, about hope, about why she couldn't give up even though she'd already decided to. This is the story of that collision, of 2 people who were both drowning, of how they saved each other without meaning to, of how the smallest moments can change entire lives, of how sometimes the stars you can't see are the ones that matter most. It started with a crash. It started with cleaning supplies scattered across pavement. It started with 2 strangers, both broken, both exhausted, both about to quit. It started on a September night in California when everything went wrong in exactly the right way. The clock on the factory wall read 2:17 a.m. when Elon Musk pushed through the heavy metal doors of Building 2. His eyes burned from staring at computer screens for 16 straight hours. His back ached from hunching over production charts. His head pounded with the same question that never stopped. How do we make this work? The parking lot stretched out before him like a dark ocean. Security lights cast yellow pools every 50 feet, but between them was only blackness. September in Fremont, California was still warm, but Elon felt cold. He always felt cold these days. His phone buzzed. Another angry tweet. Another person who had waited 2 years for their Model 3. Another person calling him a fraud. Just one more day, he whispered to himself. Get through one more day. He walked faster, eyes locked on his phone screen. Twitter was exploding again. Someone had posted a video of a delivery delay. The comments were brutal. Tesla is a scam. Elon Musk lies about everything. This company will be bankrupt by Christmas. His thumb hovered over the reply button. He wanted to explain. He wanted to tell them that 50 engineers were inside right now, working through the night, trying to solve a door alignment problem that was slowing down the entire production line. He wanted to explain that he hadn't slept in his own bed for 3 days, that he was trying, that everyone was trying, but what good would it do? He typed, "Production is hard. We're doing our." Crash, Elon slammed into someone with enough force to knock them backward. A metal cart toppled over with a tremendous clatter, bottles smashed on the concrete. A mop spun across the ground like a broken helicopter blade. "Oh no, I'm so sorry." Elon dropped his phone. It skittered across the pavement. A woman sat on the ground, surrounded by cleaning supplies. Water from a spilled bucket spread around her in a dark puddle. Her blue janitor's uniform was soaked. "I'm so sorry," Elon said again, reaching down to help her. "I wasn't looking where are you hurt?" The woman looked up at him. She was young, maybe late 20s, with black hair pulled back in a ponytail. Her face showed surprise, but not anger. Her dark eyes studied him for a moment, confused. "I'm okay," she said in accented English. She started to stand, but Elon was already kneeling, gathering the scattered bottles and rags. "Please let me help. This was completely my fault." He grabbed a spray bottle of blue liquid. "I was staring at my stupid phone like an idiot." The woman knelt beside him, picking up the pieces of a broken glass bottle. No, please. You don't have to." "Yes, I do. I crashed into you." He looked at her hands as she worked. They were rough and red with small cracks in the skin. The harsh cleaning chemicals, he realized, night after night of scrubbing floors and washing windows. They worked in silence for a moment, gathering supplies and placing them back on the overturned cart. Elon flipped the cart upright. One of the wheels was bent, but it still rolled. "Long night?" he asked. The woman paused. She looked at him more carefully now, and he saw recognition dawn on her face. She knew who he was. He waited for the usual reaction, excitement or anger, or that weird combination of both that famous people always got. Instead, she just smiled. A small, tired smile. "Every night is long," she said softly. "But every night is also a gift." Elon stopped moving. The bottle in his hand hung frozen in midair. He stared at her. "What did you say?" "Every night is long, but every night is also a gift." She said it again, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "That's what my daughter tells me when I'm too tired to keep going." Elon set the bottle down slowly. "Your daughter says that." "Used to say it more before the accident." The woman's smile faded. She looked away toward the dark factory building behind them. "What accident?" But she was already standing, wiping her wet hands on her uniform. "I should finish my work. Thank you for helping, Mr. Musk. I'm sorry about your phone." She pointed to where it lay on the ground, screen cracked. "The phone doesn't matter." Elon picked it up. The screen still worked barely. "Wait, what's your name?" Maya Chen." She grabbed the cart handle and started to push it away, the broken wheel squeaking with each rotation. "Maya, wait. What did you mean about your daughter? What accident?" She turned back. In the yellow security light, her face looked older than it had a moment ago, tired in a way that had nothing to do with the late hour. "My daughter used to say the same thing you just said, about not having enough time before everything changed." She paused. "She was right, though. We never have enough time. That's why every moment is a gift." "I don't understand." "You will." Maya gave him another small smile. "Good night, Mr. Musk. I hope tomorrow is easier for you." She pushed her squeaking cart into the shadows between the security lights. Within seconds, she had vanished into the darkness, leaving Elon standing alone in the empty parking lot with a broken phone and a head full of questions. Every night is long, but every night is also a gift. He thought about the last 3 months, the production hell, the angry tweets, the SEC investigation that was getting worse every day, the board members who wanted him to quit, the short sellers betting billions that Tesla would fail, the workers who depended on him, the customers who had trusted him with their money and their dreams. He thought about his own words spoken just moments before the collision. Just one more day. Get through one more day. When had getting through become his definition of success? When had he started measuring his life in days survived instead of days lived? Every night is also a gift. Elon looked up at the sky. Light pollution from the Bay Area washed out most of the stars, but he could see a few. Tiny points of light, impossibly far away, shining through the darkness. He thought about Mars, about the city he wanted to build there, about making humans a multi-planet species, about giving humanity a backup plan, a second chance, a future beyond one fragile world. But right now, standing in this parking lot at 2:17 a.m. with a broken phone and a soaking wet shirt from kneeling in spilled water, he wasn't thinking about Mars. He was thinking about a woman he'd met by accident, a janitor whose name he wouldn't have known if he hadn't crashed into her, a person who worked in his factory every night, invisible, someone he'd probably walked past 100 times without seeing, a person who knew something he'd forgotten. Elon walked to his car, a Model S with 147,000 miles on it. He sat in the driver's seat but didn't start the engine. Instead, he pulled out his cracked phone and looked at the angry tweets again. Then he deleted what he'd been typing. He didn't post anything. He just sat there thinking about a daughter who used to say wise things before an accident, and wondering what kind of accident could change a child who saw every night as a gift. he would find out. But not tonight. Tonight, he just drove home, went to bed, and actually slept. For the first time in weeks, he didn't dream about failure. He dreamed about stars. 1 month earlier, August 7, 2018, Elon sat in his car outside the Tesla factory at 9:30 a.m. His fingers hovered over his phone screen. He'd been sitting there for 20 minutes, staring at the words he'd typed. "Am considering taking Tesla private at $420 funding secured." It was bold, it was shocking, it would change everything. His hand shook slightly as he pressed tweet. The message flew into the internet. Within seconds, his phone started exploding. Texts, calls, news alerts. The stock market went crazy. Tesla's price jumped up, then sideways, then up again. His brother Kimball called first. "Brother, what did you just do?" "Something I should have done months ago," Elon said. "We can't keep dealing with short sellers trying to destroy us. Going private solves everything." "But do you actually have the funding?" "The Saudi investment fund said they wanted to invest. We've been talking for months. It's practically done." "Practically" isn't the same as secured, Elon. But Elon wasn't listening anymore. He was reading the reactions flooding across Twitter. Some people were excited, others were furious. And the short sellers, the people betting billions that Tesla would fail, they were panicking. Good, he thought. Let them panic for once. He didn't know yet that this single tweet would bring the SEC crashing down on him. He didn't know it would cost him $20 million and his role as Tesla's chairman. He didn't know it would be called the most expensive tweet in history. All he knew was that he was tired, so tired of fighting. The next 3 weeks were a nightmare. Every day brought new problems. The SEC opened an investigation. Lawyers called constantly. The funding from Saudi Arabia wasn't as secured as he'd thought. They wanted different terms, different control, different everything. News articles called him reckless, irresponsible, a liar. The factory struggled too. They were supposed to make 5,000 Model 3 cars per week, but they kept hitting problems. Door panels didn't fit right, paint had bubbles, computers glitched. Each problem meant delays. Each delay meant angry customers. Elon practically lived at the factory. He had a small couch in a conference room where he slept when he slept at all. Sometimes just 2 hours, sometimes none. He'd wake up at 3 a.m. and walk the production line, watching the robots work, watching the human workers struggle with impossible deadlines. Some workers had been injured. Nothing serious, but still. It was his fault, all of it. One night, Kimball showed up unannounced. He found Elon sitting on his couch bed, eating cold pizza and staring at his laptop. "You look terrible," Kimball said. "I feel terrible." Elon didn't look up from the screen. Production numbers, always production numbers. "You need to slow down, brother, take a day off, sleep in a real bed." "I can't." Elon finally looked at him. His eyes were red and hollow. "Do you know how many people depend on this company? 40,000 employees. Hundreds of thousands of customers who gave us their money, suppliers, their families. If I stop, if I rest, if I fail, they all fall with me. One day off won't destroy Tesla." "You don't understand." Elon stood up, started pacing. "The short sellers have bet billions that will fail. They spread lies about us every single day. They want us to go bankrupt. They want all those people to lose their jobs. And if I show any weakness, if I give them any opening, they'll destroy everything." Kimball watched his brother pace like a caged animal. "What happened to you? You used to love this, building things, solving impossible problems. Now you just look scared." Elon stopped pacing. "I am scared. I'm terrified. What if I can't do it? What if I'm not smart enough or strong enough or fast enough? What if everyone who believed in me was wrong?" "Then you're human," Kimball said quietly, "like the rest of us." But Elon shook his head. "I don't get to be human, not right now. Too many people need me to be more than that." Kimball left an hour later. Elon went back to work. By late August, Elon's life had become a blur of meetings, tweets, production problems, and legal calls. The SEC investigation grew more serious. Board members whispered about replacing him. The media wrote articles predicting Tesla's bankruptcy by Christmas. One reporter from the New York Times interviewed him. Elon tried to explain the pressure, the stress, the weight of it all. He tried to explain that this wasn't about money or ego. It was about believing electric cars could save the planet, about believing humans could become a spacefaring species, about believing that impossible things could become real if you just worked hard enough. But when the article came out, the headlines focused on one thing. Elon Musk was struggling. He was exhausted. He cried during the interview. The short sellers celebrated. The stock dropped again. Elon read the article alone in his factory office at midnight. He felt exposed, weak, like he'd failed some kind of test. His phone buzzed with a text from an old friend. Hang in there. The world needs what you're building. But did it? Or was he just a fool chasing impossible dreams while real people suffered for his ambition? He walked out to the production floor. The night shift was working. Welders sending sparks into the air, robots moving with precise choreography, people in blue uniforms carrying parts and tools. These people believed in him. They'd left other jobs, moved across the country, worked crazy hours, all because they believed electric cars mattered, because they believed in a future without pollution. How could he let them down? Elon walked the entire factory floor, watching every station, every worker, every car slowly taking shape. And somewhere in that building, though he didn't know it yet, a woman named Maya Chen was mopping floors and thinking about her daughter, thinking about accidents that change everything, thinking about whether she could survive one more night. In 3 weeks, they would collide, and both their lives would never be the same. 5 years earlier, June 2013, Maya Chen stepped off the plane at San Francisco International Airport and felt her heart race with excitement and fear. Everything was so big, so loud, so American. Her husband David held their daughter Lily's hand. Lily was only 7 years old, small for her age, with curious eyes that tried to see everything at once. "Mama, look." Lily pointed at a massive airplane taking off through the window. "It's like a metal bird." Maya smiled. "Yes, baby, just like a bird." But inside, Maya felt like a small bird herself, landing in a strange forest full of hawks. She spoke only basic English. She had $93 in her purse. Their apartment in Hayward, a tiny 2-bedroom they'd found online, cost $1,800 per month. David's new job as a software engineer paid well, but not until he started next week. Could they really make it in America? David squeezed her hand. "We'll be okay," he said in Mandarin. "This is our chance for a better life." And for 3 years it was better, much better. David's job at a tech company in San Jose paid $95,000 per year, more money than they'd ever imagined in their small village in rural China. They bought a used Honda Civic. They filled their apartment with furniture from garage sales. Maya took English classes at the community center, and Lily bloomed like a flower in springtime. She learned English faster than both parents combined. By 2nd grade, she was reading chapter books. By 3rd grade, she was winning science fair awards. Her teachers said she was gifted, especially in math and science. Lily became obsessed with space. She watched documentaries about planets and stars. She cut pictures of rockets from magazines and covered her bedroom walls with them. Her favorite was a photo of the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launching at sunset, fire and smoke trailing behind it like a dragon's tail. "Someday I'll go to space," Lily announced at dinner one night. "I'll visit Mars and find alien fossils." David laughed. "That's a big dream for a small girl." "Big dreams need small people to start them," Lily said seriously. "That's what my teacher told us." Maya felt such pride it hurt. Her daughter, born in a village with dirt roads, was dreaming of Mars. But then Lily started asking hard questions. One night in December 2015, she came to Maya's bed at 2 a.m. crying. "What's wrong, baby?" Maya held her close. "I read that stars die. Is that true?" "Well, yes, but it takes billions of years. And galaxies crash into each other, and black holes eat everything. And one day the sun will explode and Earth will be gone." Lily was sobbing now. "Why does everything have to end, Mama?" Maya didn't know what to say. She was a simple woman from a farming village. She knew about planting rice and raising chickens, not about the universe and its cruel mathematics. "I don't know why, baby, but we're here now. That's what matters." "But if nothing lasts forever, why do we try so hard?" Lily looked up at her with tear-filled eyes. "Why do people work and build things and love each other if it all just ends?" Maya thought for a long moment. Then she said something she didn't even know was true until she spoke it. "Maybe things shine brighter because they don't last forever. Maybe stars know their time is short, so they give all their light while they can." Lily stopped crying. She thought about this. Then she nodded slowly. "Like Daddy working so hard." "What do you mean?" "Daddy works late every night. He's tired all the time, but he says he's building the future for us. He's shining bright, right? Even though he's tired." Maya felt tears in her own eyes now. "Yes, that's exactly right." Lily wiped her face. "Then I want to shine bright too, even if I'm small, even if it's hard. I want to give all my light." She went back to bed. Maya sat alone in the darkness, wondering how her 7-year-old daughter had become so wise. March 2016. Lily's 9th birthday was on a Saturday. David had been working late every night that week. His company was launching a new product and everyone was stressed. He'd promised to be home by 6 p.m. for cake and presents. By 7 p.m., he still wasn't there. Lily sat at the table in her birthday dress, a blue one with stars on it that Maya had sewn by hand. 9 candles waited on the cake, unlit. "Should we call Daddy?" Lily asked. Maya checked her phone. No messages. "Let's wait a little longer." By 8 p.m., Lily's smile had faded. "He forgot, didn't he?" "No, baby, he's just working. You know how important his job is." "More important than my birthday," Lily's voice cracked. Maya knelt beside her daughter's chair. "Listen to me. Your daddy loves you more than anything in the world. He works hard because he loves you. He wants to give you a good life. But I don't need stuff. I just need him to be here." "I know, baby, I know." They sat in silence. Then Lily said something that Maya would remember forever. "Daddy doesn't have enough time for us because he's making time for the future. That's okay, Mama. I understand. Important people have to do important things." She wasn't angry. She wasn't even sad anymore. She just understood. At 9 years old, she understood something most adults never learn. David finally came home at 9:30 p.m. He felt terrible. He hugged Lily and apologized over and over. They lit the candles and sang happy birthday. Lily smiled and blew them out. She wished for her daddy to not work so hard, but she didn't tell anyone what she wished for. Maya watched her daughter and husband laughing together, eating cake, and felt a shadow cross her heart. A mother's intuition, a sense that their happiness was fragile like a soap bubble floating in the wind. She pushed the feeling away. Everything was fine. They were together. They were safe. She didn't know that in exactly 2 months everything would shatter. May 2016. The call came at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Maya was washing dishes when her phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello. Is this Maya Chen?" A woman's voice, serious and gentle at the same time. "Yes. This is Highland Hospital in Oakland. There's been an accident. Your husband David Chen and your daughter Lily Chen were brought to our emergency room about an hour ago. You need to come right away." The dish Maya was holding slipped from her hands and shattered in the sink. The woman kept talking, but Maya couldn't hear the words anymore. Just a buzzing sound like bees filling her head. Accident. Emergency room. Come right away. She ran to her neighbor's apartment and pounded on the door. Mrs. Rodriguez drove her to the hospital, 30 minutes that felt like 30 hours. In the emergency room waiting area, a police officer told her what happened. David had been driving home from work on Highway 880. Lily was with him. He'd picked her up from after-school care. Around 10:30 p.m., a drunk driver crossed the median barrier going 70 miles per hour. Head-on collision. David died at the scene. The drunk driver died too. Lily was alive. Barely. Maya collapsed to the floor. And somewhere in the emergency room, her daughter lay unconscious with a fractured skull, bleeding in her brain, her small body broken but her heart still beating, still fighting, still shining even in the darkness. Present day, September 2018. 3 nights after the collision, Elon couldn't stop thinking about Maya Chen. He'd asked his assistant to find out who she was. Night shift janitor, started working at Tesla 2 years ago. Perfect attendance record, never complained, never caused problems. Just showed up every night and did her work. Nothing about a daughter, nothing about an accident. But those words kept echoing in his mind. Every night is long, but every night is also a gift. Who talks like that? Especially someone mopping floors at 2 a.m. for minimum wage. It was midnight when Elon walked into the factory cafeteria. He told himself he was just hungry, needed coffee, needed to check on the night shift. But really, he was looking for her. The cafeteria was nearly empty. A few engineers sat in the corner arguing about battery temperatures. 2 maintenance workers ate sandwiches by the window, and there, at a table in the back, sat Maya Chen. She was alone, eating instant ramen from a foam cup. A thick textbook lay open beside her food, something about medical terminology. She had a notebook where she was writing down words in careful English, then the Chinese characters beside them. Elon grabbed a cup of coffee and walked over. "Mind if I join you?" Maya looked up, startled. For a second, she looked scared, like she'd done something wrong. Then she recognized him and started to stand. "Mr. Musk, Please sit." He waved her back down. "I'm just another person who's hungry and tired." She sat slowly, closing her textbook like she was hiding something embarrassing. "What are you studying?" Elon asked, sitting across from her. "Medical terms for school." Her accent made the words careful and precise. "I take online classes, community college, to become medical technician." "That's great. How long have you been studying?" 1 year now, very hard. English is hard. Medical words are harder." She smiled a little. "But my daughter says I can do hard things." There it was again. The daughter. "Tell me about her," Elon said. "Your daughter." Maya's smile faded. She looked down at her ramen, stirring the noodles with chopsticks. For a moment, Elon thought she wouldn't answer. "Her name is Lily. She's 11 years old." Maya's voice was quiet. "She's very smart, loves science, loves space. Her room has rocket pictures everywhere." "Really?" Elon felt something warm in his chest. "What's her favorite?" "SpaceX Falcon 9. The picture where it's launching at sunset. She says it looks like hope flying into the sky." Elon had to look away. He'd seen thousands of launch photos, but he'd never thought about them like that. Hope flying into the sky. Does she want to be an astronaut? She used to say that. Every day she would say, "Mama, I'm going to Mars." But now, Maya's chopsticks stopped moving. Now she just wants to walk again. The words hung in the air like smoke. "What happened?" Elon asked gently. Maya took a deep breath. 2 years ago, car accident on Highway 880. My husband David was driving home from work. Lily was with him. A drunk driver hit them, head on. "Oh no." David died right away. "Lily," Maya's voice cracked. Lily was in coma for 3 months. The doctors said she might never wake up, but she did. She woke up. That's amazing. Yes, but she's different now. Her brain was hurt very badly. Her left side doesn't work right. She can't walk without help. She talks slow. She forgets things sometimes. Maya wiped her eyes quickly. But she's still Lily, still my beautiful girl. Elon felt a lump in his throat. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Maya started eating again like she needed something to do with her hands. That's why I work here. Tesla has good insurance. Lily needs therapy, doctors, medicine. Very expensive. I work night shift because it pays more. During the day, I take care of Lily and my mother. She came from China to help us. Where does Lily go to school? Special school in Oakland for children with disabilities. She goes on a small bus. She likes it there, but Maya looked up at Elon. But she misses her old dreams. Before the accident, she wanted to be astronaut. Now she just wants to run like other kids. Simple things we don't think about. Elon thought about his own children. Healthy, strong, full of energy. He'd never worried about whether they could walk or run. He'd taken it for granted. Why Tesla? He asked. You could work anywhere. Why here specifically? Maya smiled, a real smile this time. Because of Lily. After the accident, she was so sad, so angry. She said, Mama, I hate cars. Cars killed Daddy. Cars hurt me. I didn't know what to say. She took a sip of water before continuing. Then one day she saw news about Tesla on TV, about electric cars, about how they don't make pollution, about how they're trying to save the earth. And Lily said, Mama, those are good cars. Those are different. So I promised her I would work for the good cars, the cars that help the planet. And she was okay with that. More than okay. She made me promise. She said, Mama, work somewhere that matters. Work somewhere that's building the future like Daddy did. Maya's eyes filled with tears. So I came here. I applied for janitor job. And I clean these floors every night, and I think about Lily's face when I tell her about the cars being built here. It makes her happy. That makes me happy. Elon couldn't speak. He just sat there, coffee getting cold in his hands. This woman, who had lost her husband, whose daughter was disabled, who worked 2 jobs and studied medical terms at midnight while eating instant ramen. This woman was happy because she believed in what Tesla was doing. And he'd been ready to give up. He'd been drowning in self-pity because of tweets and stock prices and SEC investigations. How do you do it? Elon finally asked. How do you stay positive after everything you've lost? Maya looked at him with those dark, tired eyes. Mr. Musk, can I tell you what Lily said to me when she woke up from the coma? Please. The doctors were explaining that she might never walk again, never run, never be the same. And Lily looked at me and said, Mama, I'm still here. Daddy's not here, but I am. That means I have a job to do. I have to shine bright enough for both of us now. Maya's voice was steady now, strong. She was 9 years old, 9, and she understood something I didn't. Bad things happen. We can't stop them, but we choose what we do after. We choose if we keep shining. She looked directly at Elon. You're building rockets to go to Mars. You're building cars to save the planet. That's important. But you look like you forgot why it's important. You look like you're just trying not to fail instead of trying to succeed. Elon felt like he'd been punched in the chest. I have to go, Maya said, standing. She picked up her textbook and her empty ramen cup. My shift isn't finished. Wait, Elon said, what you just said about shining bright. Can I meet her? Can I meet Lily? Maya looked surprised. You want to meet my daughter? Yes, if that's okay. Maya studied his face for a long moment. Then she smiled. She would love that. She thinks you're a superhero. I'm not. Maybe not, but maybe that's why you should meet her. She'll remind you why superheroes keep trying even when they're tired. Maya wrote her phone number on a napkin and handed it to him. Then she walked away, pushing her cleaning cart toward the factory floor. Elon sat alone with his cold coffee, a napkin with a phone number, and a feeling he hadn't felt in months. Hope. Maybe hope really could fly into the sky. Maybe he just needed to remember how to let it. September 27, 2018. The conference room at Tesla headquarters was silent except for the sound of Elon's lawyer shuffling papers. 12 people sat around the long table, board members, attorneys, financial advisors, all of them looking at Elon like he was a bomb about to explode. The SEC is offering a settlement, his lead attorney said. Her name was Sarah Mitchell, and she'd been working without sleep for 3 days straight. You step down as chairman. You pay a $20 million fine. Tesla pays another $20 million. Your tweets get pre-approved by company lawyers. That's ridiculous, Elon said. They want to control what I can say. They want to make sure you don't tank the stock price with another funding-secured situation. Sarah's voice was patient but firm. Elon, if you fight this, it gets worse. Much worse. They could ban you from being CEO. They could force you out completely. One of the board members, an older man named Robert Chen who'd invested early in Tesla, leaned forward. Elon, we need you to think about the company, about the employees, about the mission. I am thinking about them. Elon stood up, started pacing. I'm always thinking about them. That's why I sent that tweet in the first place, to protect us from short sellers who want to destroy everything we've built. But the funding wasn't actually secured, Sarah said quietly. You know that, I know that, and now the SEC knows that. Elon stopped pacing. He looked out the window at the parking lot below. Workers were arriving for the day shift, walking toward the factory in groups, carrying lunch boxes and coffee cups. Real people, with families, with bills, with dreams. 40,000 of them depending on him to make the right choice. If I settle, it looks like I'm admitting I lied. If you fight, you might lose everything, Sarah said. Not just your money, not just your title, everything, Tesla, SpaceX, all of it. The room was quiet. I need time to think, Elon said. You have 48 hours, Sarah said. After that, the offer expires and they file formal charges. That night, Elon didn't go home. He drove to the factory and parked in his usual spot. He sat in his car for 20 minutes, staring at nothing. His phone buzzed constantly, text messages from friends, family, investors. Everyone had an opinion about what he should do. His mom, I love you no matter what you decide. Kimball, brother, sometimes the bravest thing is accepting help. An old college friend, don't let them break you. Fight. But the one message that made him actually read it was from an unknown number. Mr. Musk, this is Maya. Lily saw you on the news tonight. She wants you to know that even Batman had to ask for help sometimes. She says that's what makes him a real hero, not a fake one. Elon smiled despite everything. A 10-year-old girl's wisdom delivered through her mother's phone. He texted back, tell Lily thank you, I needed to hear that. The reply came quickly. She says you're welcome. And she says the stars are still there, even when clouds cover them. You just have to wait for the clouds to move. Elon stared at that message for a long time. The stars are still there. He got out of his car and walked into the factory. It was 9 p.m., the night shift was just starting. The production floor hummed with activity. Robots welding, machines stamping metal, people in safety vests moving between workstations. Elon walked through it all, hands in his pockets, just watching. Nobody bothered him. They were used to seeing him here at weird hours. He stopped at Station 47, the door assembly area. A young worker named Marcus was struggling with a misaligned panel. He'd been trying to fix it for 10 minutes, getting more frustrated with each attempt. Problem? Elon asked. Marcus jumped. Mr. Musk, I didn't see you. Yeah, this panel keeps jamming. The robot arm is slightly off calibration, but I can't figure out why. Let me see. They worked together for 20 minutes, testing different adjustments. Finally, they found the issue. A sensor had been knocked loose during a previous shift. Simple fix, 2-minute repair. There, Elon said, try it now. Marcus pressed the button. The robot arm moved smoothly, placing the door panel perfectly into position. Yes, Marcus grinned. Thank you, Mr. Musk. I was about to call engineering and shut down the whole line. You would have figured it out, Elon said. You just needed fresh eyes. As he walked away, he thought about what Maya had said. You look like you're just trying not to fail instead of trying to succeed. When had that happened? When had he stopped trusting his team? When had he started thinking he had to solve every problem alone? He found Maya an hour later in the cafeteria. She was on her break, eating an apple and reading her medical textbook. When she saw him, she smiled. Lily's message helped, Elon said, sitting down across from her. Tell her I said thank you. I will, she'll be very happy. Maya closed her book. You look tired, more tired than before. The SEC wants me to settle, give up being chairman, pay fines, let lawyers control my tweets. Will you do it? I don't know, it feels like losing. Maya was quiet for a moment. Then she said, can I tell you about the day Lily woke up from her coma? Please. She'd been asleep for 3 months. The doctors said maybe she would wake up, maybe not. Every day I sat by her bed and talked to her. I told her stories. I sang songs. I begged her to come back. Maya's voice was soft, remembering. Then one morning her eyes opened, just like that. She looked at me and smiled. That must have been amazing. It was, but then the doctors did tests. They told us about the brain damage, about how she might never walk, never run, never be the same girl she was before. Maya's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't cry. I was so angry, I thought, she survived for this, to be broken. What changed your mind? Lily did. When the doctors left, she took my hand. She couldn't talk well yet, but she whispered, Mama, I'm different, but I'm still me. Different isn't broken. Maya wiped her eyes. She taught me that losing something doesn't mean you lose everything. Sometimes you have to let go of what you were to become what you need to be. Elon absorbed this. You think I should settle? I think you should ask yourself what matters more, your pride or your purpose. Maya looked at him directly. You can't save the world if you're too stubborn to save yourself first. September 29, 2018. Elon signed the settlement papers. He stepped down as chairman of Tesla's board but remained CEO. He paid the $20 million fine. He agreed to have his tweets reviewed. The news exploded. Some people called him weak. Others called it smart. The stock fluctuated wildly. But that night, alone in his office, Elon felt something unexpected: relief. He'd been carrying the weight of proving everyone wrong for so long that he'd forgotten about proving something right. He'd been so focused on fighting his enemies that he'd forgotten about helping his friends. His phone buzzed. Another message from Maya's number, but this time it was a voice message. He pressed play. A young girl's voice, slow and careful but full of joy. Mr. Musk, this is Lily. Mama let me use her phone. I'm proud of you. You did a brave thing. Batman would be proud too. Also, can I ask you something? Will you come meet me? Mama says maybe you're too busy, but I really want to meet the Rocket Man. Okay, bye. Elon listened to the message 3 times. Then he texted Maya, when can I come visit? The reply came immediately, this Saturday, 2 p.m., I'll make tea, I'll be there. Elon looked out his office window at the factory floor below. The night shift was in full production. Cars rolling off the line, people working together, building the future one piece at a time. Maybe losing a battle didn't mean losing the war. Maybe bending didn't mean breaking. Maybe asking for help wasn't weakness. It was the only way to stay strong. The stars were still there. He just had to remember to look up. Saturday, October 6, 2018. Elon drove his Model S through the streets of Hayward, California. The GPS showed he was 3 minutes away from Maya's apartment. His hands were sweaty on the steering wheel. Why was he nervous? He'd given presentations to thousands of people. He'd negotiated with presidents and CEOs. But the thought of meeting an 11-year-old girl made his stomach twist. Maybe because children were honest. They couldn't fake enthusiasm. If they didn't like you, they showed it. Or maybe because this child had been through things that would break most adults, and he didn't know what to say to someone like that. The apartment building was old, probably built in the 1970s. Faded yellow paint, cracked concrete steps. But the small garden in front was well-maintained, with colorful flowers growing in neat rows. Elon parked and grabbed the gift bag from his passenger seat. Inside was a model of the Falcon Heavy rocket and a SpaceX mission patch. He'd also included a personal note, but now it felt stupid. What had he written? Something about dreams and perseverance. It sounded fake now, too late to change it. He climbed the stairs to apartment 2B and knocked. The door opened immediately. Maya stood there in jeans and a simple blue sweater, her hair loose around her shoulders. She looked different outside of her janitor uniform, younger, less tired. "Mr. Musk, thank you for coming." She smiled warmly. "Please come in." Elon stepped into the small apartment and was immediately hit by the smell of jasmine tea and something sweet baking in the oven. The living room was tiny but spotlessly clean. Photos covered every wall: Maya and a man who must have been David on their wedding day, Lily as a baby, family pictures from China. And everywhere were drawings of rockets and stars, taped to walls, spread across the coffee table, hung on strings from the ceiling like a mobile. All of them drawn in crayon or colored pencil by a child's hand. An elderly woman emerged from the kitchen, wiping her hands on an apron. Maya's mother. She looked at Elon with suspicious eyes and said something in rapid Mandarin to Maya. Maya responded in Mandarin, then switched to English. "My mother says welcome. She made almond cookies." "Thank you," Elon said, bowing slightly. He'd learned that gesture from doing business in Asia. The old woman's expression softened a tiny bit. "Lily is in her room," Maya said. "She's been so excited all day she couldn't eat lunch. Let me tell her you're here." Maya disappeared down a short hallway. Elon heard her knock softly, heard a door open, heard excited squealing. Then he heard it, a slow, uneven sound. Footsteps, but not quite right. Shuffle step, someone walking with difficulty. Lily appeared in the hallway. She was small, much smaller than Elon had expected. Skinny arms and legs. She wore thick glasses that made her eyes look huge. Her left arm hung at an awkward angle and her left leg dragged slightly as she walked. But her face was pure sunlight. "The Rocket Man," Lily screamed. She tried to run toward him and stumbled. Maya caught her, but Lily laughed and kept coming, moving as fast as her broken body would allow. Elon knelt down so he was at her eye level. "Hi, Lily, I'm Elon." "I know who you are." Lily's words came out slow and slightly slurred, but full of excitement. "You're the man who makes rockets and cars, and you're going to Mars, and you're going to save the world." "Well, I'm trying," Elon said, smiling. "But I need smart people like you to help me." Lily's eyes went even wider behind her glasses. "Me? I can help." "Of course, in fact, I brought you something." He held out the gift bag. Lily took it with her good hand and sat down on the floor right there in the hallway, too excited to wait. She pulled out the Falcon Heavy model and gasped. "It's the big rocket, the one with 3 boosters, the one that sent the car into space." She held it up, examining every detail. "Mama, look." "I see, baby, it's beautiful." Lily found the mission patch next. A circular patch with the SpaceX logo and the words "Demo Mission" around the edge. She pressed it to her chest like a treasure. "This is the best day of my whole life," she whispered. Elon felt his throat tighten. There's a note in there too. Lily pulled out the folded paper. Maya helped her open it. Lily reads slowly, her finger following each word. Dear Lily, your mom told me you love space and rockets. Me too. I've loved them since I was a kid just like you. She also told me you've been through hard times, that you keep dreaming even when things are difficult. That's what real astronauts do. They don't give up when things get hard, they work harder, keep studying, keep dreaming, keep looking at the stars. One day, people like you will walk on Mars. And when they do, it will be because you believed it was possible. Your friend, Elon Musk. Lily looked up at him with tears running down her face. You really think I could go to Mars? I know you could, maybe not as an astronaut. He saw her face fall and quickly continued, but as something even better, an engineer, a mission planner, a colony architect. The people who design the Mars cities will be just as important as the people who fly there. Really? Really? In fact, they'll be more important. Anyone can be brave enough to fly a rocket, but it takes someone really special to imagine what doesn't exist yet and then build it. Lily thought about this. Then she said, "Can I show you something?" Of course. She stood up carefully and shuffle-walked toward her bedroom. Come on. Elon followed her with Maya and her mother trailing behind. Lily's room was small, barely big enough for a bed, a desk, and a special chair in the corner with supports for her back. But every inch of wall space was covered. Rocket pictures, star charts, drawings of Mars with domed cities, newspaper clippings about SpaceX launches, a poster of the International Space Station, photos of astronauts, a periodic table of elements with some elements circled in red marker. This is my dream wall, Lily announced proudly. Everything here is about space. Mama helped me put it up after I came home from the hospital. Elon walked slowly around the room, examining everything. He saw a drawing that made him stop. It was a crayon picture of a family, a man, a woman, and a little girl standing on Mars. They were inside a clear dome, and Earth was visible in the sky behind them. At the bottom, in careful letters, it said, "My Family on Mars," by Lily Chen, age 9. I drew that before the accident, Lily said quietly. She'd followed his gaze. That's my daddy, my mama, and me. We were going to go to Mars together. It's beautiful, Elon said. I know Daddy can't go now, but that's okay. Lily's voice was matter of fact. Mama says he's in the stars already, so he'll be there watching when I go. Right, Mama? Maya's voice was thick with tears. Right, baby, he'll be watching. Lily turned back to Elon. Do you want to see my Mars colony design? I'm working on it for school. It has greenhouses and solar panels and everything. I would love to see it. For the next hour, Lily showed him her drawings and explained her ideas. Some were childish and impossible, but some were actually clever. A water recycling system that used mirrors and gravity. A greenhouse design that maximized sunlight exposure. A layout for underground tunnels to protect colonists from radiation. You're really smart, Elon said. How did you learn all this? Books, internet. I watch videos about science every day. Mama's friend at the library helps me find good books. Lily smiled. My brain works slower now after the accident, but it still works. I just have to try harder. That's the secret, Elon said. Trying harder. That's what makes the difference between people who dream and people who do. Maya called from the kitchen. Tea is ready and cookies. They all gathered in the small living room. Maya's mother had made jasmine tea and warm almond cookies. Elon sat on the couch. Lily insisted on sitting right next to him, her Falcon Heavy model clutched in her lap. Mr. Musk, Lily said between bites of cookie, can I ask you something? Call me Elon, and yes, ask me anything. Are you sad a lot? The question caught him completely off guard. What? Mama says you look sad sometimes. She says you work too hard and forget to be happy. Lily looked at him with those huge eyes behind the thick glasses. Are you sad? Elon glanced at Maya, who looked embarrassed, but Lily was still waiting for an answer. Sometimes, he admitted, when things are difficult, when I feel like I'm letting people down. But you're not letting people down, Lily said firmly. You're building rockets, you're making electric cars, you're helping the Earth. That's not letting people down. That's the opposite. It's complicated. No, it's not. Lily shook her head. My teacher says complicated is just another word for I'm scared to make it simple. You're scared you're not good enough, but you are good enough. You're Elon Musk. Out of the mouths of babes, Elon thought, You're very wise, Lily. Mama says I'm wise because I've seen hard things. She says hard things teach you what matters. Lily took another cookie. Want to know what matters? Please tell me. People love dreams, trying your best even when you're scared. She counted on her fingers. Those 4 things, that's all that really matters. Everything else is just extra. Elon looked at this 11-year-old girl who couldn't walk right, who'd lost her father, whose body had been broken by a drunk driver's mistake, teaching him about what mattered in life. You're right, he said quietly. You're absolutely right. Lily beamed, then she yawned hugely. Someone's tired, Maya said gently. It's time for your rest, baby. But Elon just got here. He'll come back, won't you? Maya looked at Elon hopefully. Of course I will, Elon said, if you want me to. Yes, Lily hugged him awkwardly with her good arm. Thank you for the rocket. Thank you for the patch. Thank you for coming to see me. Thank you for teaching me something important, Elon said. What did I teach you? That complicated is just another word for I'm scared to make it simple, he smiled. I'm going to remember that. Maya helped Lily to her room. Elon could hear them talking softly in Mandarin, then Maya singing a lullaby. The old woman, Lily's grandmother, sat in the corner, still watching Elon with careful eyes. When Maya returned, she walked Elon to the door. Thank you, she said. You made her whole year, maybe her whole life. She made mine, Elon said honestly. She's special, Maya, really special. I know, Maya's eyes filled with tears. Sometimes I'm so angry about what happened to her, about what she lost. But then she says something wise like that and I remember she didn't lose herself. She's still Lily, still shining. Elon pulled out his phone. Can I have your real number? Not just for work, so I can check on Lily, so I can be her friend. Maya looked surprised but pleased. Of course. They exchanged numbers. As Elon walked to his car, he turned back. Maya stood in the doorway, silhouetted by the warm light from inside the apartment. Maya, he called, that night in the parking lot, you saved my life. You know that, right? No, Maya said softly. We saved each other's. Elon drove home with tears in his eyes and hope in his heart. A little girl in a broken body had just reminded him what he'd forgotten. The stars were still there, and so was he. October 15, 2018. The news headlines screamed across every website. Elon Musk SETTLES with SEC. Tesla CEO pays $20 million fine. Musk STEPS down as chairman. Some people called it humiliating. Wall Street analysts debated whether Tesla could survive without Elon as chairman. Short sellers celebrated on Twitter, claiming this was the beginning of the end. But inside Tesla headquarters, something different was happening. Elon called an all-hands meeting. Every employee who could attend packed into the factory cafeteria. Others watched on video screens from different buildings. The room buzzed with nervous energy. When Elon walked to the front, the crowd went silent. He looked different than he had a month ago. Still tired, but calmer somehow. less like a man drowning and more like a man learning to swim. I know you've all seen the news, Elon began. His voice was steady. I settled with the SEC. I'm no longer chairman of the board, though I'm still CEO. Tesla and I each paid $20 million in fines. And yes, my tweets now get reviewed by lawyers before I send them. Someone in the crowd laughed nervously. Some people think this makes me weak. They think I gave up. They think Tesla is finished. Elon paused. But here's what I learned recently from a very smart 11-year-old girl. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit when you need help. He looked around the room at the thousands of faces watching him. I made a mistake with that tweet. I was trying to protect this company from people who want us to fail, but I did it the wrong way. And instead of making things better, I made them worse. His voice was honest, vulnerable. I'm sorry. I let you down. The room was absolutely silent. But here's what I want you to know. This company isn't about me. It never was. It's about you. Every engineer who solved an impossible problem. Every worker on the line who built cars with their own hands. Every person who believed electric vehicles could change the world. Elon's voice grew stronger. We've had the hardest year in Tesla's history, production hell, negative press, people betting billions that we'd go bankrupt. And you know what? We didn't quit. We built more cars than ever. We became profitable. We proved everyone wrong. People started clapping. It grew into applause. This settlement isn't the end. It's just another problem we solved so we can keep moving forward. Next month, we're going to build even more cars. Next year, we're opening new factories. And in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, electric cars will be everywhere because of what we're building right here, right now. The applause became cheers. Thank you for believing in this mission. Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I was ready to give up on myself. Elon smiled, a real smile. Now let's get back to work. We have a world to change. As employees filed out, many of them stopped to shake Elon's hand or pat his shoulder. He stayed until he'd talked to everyone who wanted to talk. Maya was waiting near the back of the room. She'd come in on her day off just to hear him speak. "That was good," she said when he finally reached her. "You sounded like yourself again." "I feel like myself again, for the first time in months." Elon looked at her seriously. "I meant what I said about that smart 11-year-old. Lily changed how I think about everything." "She has a gift for that," Maya smiled. "She wants me to tell you something." "What?" "She's been following the news. She saw people being mean to you online. She made me write down what she wanted to say." Maya pulled out her phone and read from her notes. "Tell Elon that heroes get knocked down all the time. That's what makes them heroes. Not that they never fall, but that they always get back up." Elon felt his eyes sting with tears. "She said that?" "Word for word. She also said to tell you that Batman lost his parents, but he didn't stop being Batman. He just learned to be a different kind of hero. Your daughter is wiser than most adults I know. She learned it the hard way." Maya put her phone away. "But she learned it, that's what counts." That evening, Elon sat in his office with his phone in his hand. He opened Twitter and stared at the blank compose box. For weeks, he'd been afraid to tweet, afraid of saying the wrong thing, afraid of making things worse. But fear wasn't a good reason to stay silent. He typed carefully. "Talk to our incredible Tesla team today, humbled by their dedication. We've had tough times, but we keep pushing forward together. The mission matters more than the obstacles." He read it twice. Then he sent it to the legal team for review as required by the settlement. 10 minutes later, they approved it. He pressed tweet. The responses came immediately. Some negative, some positive. But Elon realized something important. He couldn't control how people reacted. He could only control what he said and did. And what he wanted to say was simple: keep going, keep trying, keep believing. His phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number, but he recognized the area code, Hayward. It was a photo. Lily, sitting at her desk with her Falcon Heavy model beside her, giving a thumbs up. She was wearing the SpaceX mission patch on her shirt. Her smile was enormous. Below the photo, Maya had written, "She wanted you to see her wearing the patch. She says she's on your team now. Team Future." Elon saved the photo. Then he set it as his phone's wallpaper. When things got hard, and they would get hard again, he would look at that picture. At a little girl who'd lost her father and her ability to walk, but who still believed in rockets and Mars and futures that didn't exist yet. If she could keep believing, so could he. October 23, 2018. Tesla announced its Q3 results, profitable, higher production numbers than ever. The stock climbed. Elon was in a meeting when his assistant knocked on the door. "Sorry to interrupt, but there's someone here to see you. She says it's important." "Who?" "Maya Chen from the night shift." Elon stood immediately. "Send her in." Maya entered, still wearing her janitor uniform. She looked worried. "What's wrong? Is Lily okay?" "She's sick. The hospital, they found swelling in her brain from the old injury. She needs emergency surgery." Maya's voice shook. "I have insurance, but it doesn't cover everything. I don't know what to do." "Which hospital?" "UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital in Oakland. They're taking her tomorrow morning." "Give me 10 minutes. Elon picked up his phone and stepped out of the room. When he returned, his face was calm. "The hospital called you yet?" Maya's phone buzzed. She answered, listened, and her eyes went wide. She looked at Elon in shock. They said everything is covered, all the specialists, all the costs. They said an anonymous donor." Her voice broke. "You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did." Elon's voice was firm. "Lily is special. She deserves the best care possible, and you shouldn't have to worry about money when your daughter needs help." Maya started crying, not quiet tears but deep sobs. Elon stood there awkwardly for a moment, then stepped forward and hugged her. "She's going to be okay," he said. "The best neurosurgeons in California work at that hospital. They'll take care of her." "Thank you," Maya whispered. "Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank Lily for me, for reminding me what matters." Maya pulled back, wiping her eyes. "Will you come to the hospital? She keeps asking for you." "I'll be there," Elon promised. "I'll be there for both of you." After Maya left, Elon returned to his meeting, but his mind was elsewhere. A little girl was fighting for her health tomorrow, and he would be there not as a CEO or a billionaire, but as a friend. Because that's what mattered, not settlements or stock prices or Twitter arguments. People, real people with real problems and real courage. People like Lily, who turned tragedy into wisdom. People like Maya, who worked 2 jobs and still made time to dream. People who reminded him why rockets mattered, why electric cars mattered, why any of it mattered, because it was never about the technology. It was always about the people the technology served. The stars were still there, and so were the people who needed help reaching them. October 24, 2018, 3:47 a.m. Elon couldn't sleep. Tomorrow, today, really, Lily would have her surgery at 8 a.m. He'd promised to be there, but right now he was lying on his office couch, staring at the ceiling. He got up and walked to the production floor. The night shift was in full motion. The assembly line moved like a mechanical river, carrying partially built Model 3s from station to station. Sparks flew from welding robots. The smell of hot metal and electronics filled the air. Elon walked slowly down the line, watching each stage: body welding, battery installation, interior assembly, paint booth. Final inspection. At Station 47, he saw a familiar face. Marcus, the young worker he'd helped 2 weeks ago with the misaligned door panel. But tonight, Marcus wasn't working. He was sitting on the floor with his head in his hands. "Marcus, what's wrong?" Marcus looked up, startled. His eyes were red. "Mr. Musk, I didn't hear you." "What happened?" "Same problem as before, but worse this time. The robot arm keeps jamming. I've tried everything. I recalibrated the sensor. I checked the hydraulics. I ran diagnostics twice." He stood up, frustrated. "Nothing works, and every minute this station is down, we fall further behind production targets." Elon looked at the robot arm, then at the door panel waiting to be installed, then at Marcus's tired face. "How long have you been working on this?" 3 hours. My shift ends in 2 hours, but I can't leave it broken. The day shift will have the same problem." "Have you called engineering?" "They're all sleeping. I didn't want to wake them for something I should be able to fix myself." Marcus kicked the floor gently. "I'm supposed to be good at this, but I can't figure it out." Elon thought about what Maya had told him weeks ago, about the frustrated worker she'd helped just by listening. Sometimes people didn't need someone to solve their problem. They needed someone to help them remember they were smart enough to solve it themselves. "Tell me what you've tried," Elon said. "Every step." "Everything. I checked the sensor." "No, I mean every single step. Walk me through your whole process, out loud." Marcus looked confused but started talking. "Okay, so first I noticed the robot arm was stopping 3 inches too early, so I thought it might be the distance sensor. I recalibrated it using the standard procedure. Then I tested it, but it still stopped too early, so I checked the hydraulic pressure." "Wait," Elon said. "How did you recalibrate the sensor?" "Using the touch panel. I entered the new distance measurements and hit confirm." "Did the system give you a confirmation message?" Marcus paused. I don't remember. I was so focused on fixing it that I might have just assumed it confirmed." They walked to the control panel together. Elon pulled up the calibration log. The last entry was from 3 days ago. "Your calibration didn't save," Elon said. "Look, no entry from tonight." "But I hit confirm." "The system has a bug. If you hit confirm too fast after entering data, it doesn't register. You have to wait 2 seconds. Elon had discovered this himself months ago. "Let's try again. Slow." Marcus entered the measurements again. This time he counted to 3 before hitting confirm. A green message appeared. "Calibration saved." They tested the robot arm. It moved smoothly, grabbed the door panel, and installed it perfectly. Marcus stared at the robot like it had performed magic. "That's it. That was the whole problem. I just clicked too fast." "Sometimes the simplest answer is the right one," Elon smiled. "You weren't doing anything wrong. The system just has a quirk nobody documented properly." "I wasted 3 hours." "You didn't waste anything. You learned something, and now you'll remember to count to 3. Elon put his hand on Marcus's shoulder. "You know what else you learned?" "What?" "That asking for help isn't weakness. You sat here for 3 hours trying to solve this alone because you thought you should be able to fix it yourself. But imagine if you'd called me, or anyone, after 30 minutes. We'd have solved it 2.5 hours ago." Marcus looked down. "I didn't want people to think I was stupid." "Nobody thinks you're stupid. Smart people ask questions. Stupid people pretend they know everything." Elon had learned this lesson recently, painfully. "I spent months pretending I could handle everything alone. You know what happened? I almost destroyed the company, and myself." "Really?" "Really? A janitor had to teach me that it's okay to struggle. That asking for help makes you stronger, not weaker." Marcus smiled slightly. "A janitor taught you that?" "She's smarter than most CEOs I know." Elon checked his watch. 4:23 a.m. Go home, Marcus, get some sleep, you fixed the problem. We fixed it. You would have figured it out eventually. I just saved you some time. As Marcus left, Elon continued walking the production line. At each station, he stopped and talked to workers, not to check on them or criticize, just to listen. A woman named Sarah told him about a glitch in the battery installation software. She'd found a workaround, but nobody had documented it for other shifts. Can you write it down? Elon asked. So everyone knows. I'm not a writer, I just install batteries. You're an expert, that's more important than being a writer. Just explain it like you explained it to me. He handed her his email address on a business card. Send it to me. I'll make sure it gets added to the training manual. Sarah looked shocked. You'll read my email. Of course, you just saved us hours of production time. That matters. At Station 63, a man named James showed Elon a better way to route the wiring harness. It saved 30 seconds per car. 30 seconds doesn't sound like much, James said, but multiply by 5,000 cars. That's 41 hours saved per week, Elon calculated instantly. That's huge. Why didn't you mention this before? I did. I told my supervisor. He said the engineers designed it this way for a reason. The engineers are brilliant, but they're not building cars every day. You see things they can't see. Elon made a note on his phone. I'm changing this immediately, factory-wide. By 6 a.m., Elon had talked to 23 different workers. He'd learned about 17 different improvements they'd discovered. Small things. 30 seconds here, a better tool placement there, a software shortcut someone had figured out. Individually, they were tiny. Together, they could increase production by 15%. All this knowledge had been locked inside the people actually doing the work because nobody had asked them. Nobody had listened. Elon returned to his office and sent an email to all department heads. Effective immediately, every week production supervisors will hold listening sessions with line workers. We need to hear their ideas, their improvements, their solutions. The people building our cars are the real experts. We need to trust them. He hit send at 6:47 a.m. Then he grabbed his jacket. Time to go to the hospital. Time to be there for a little girl who taught him that being vulnerable wasn't weakness. That asking for help wasn't failure. That admitting you don't have all the answers was the first step to finding them. The production floor was changing. He was changing. All because he'd accidentally bumped into a janitor in a parking lot and she'd said something simple. Every night is long, but every night is also a gift. He'd spent months seeing every night as a battle to survive. Now he was starting to see them as opportunities to learn. November 2, 2018. The numbers came in. Tesla had produced 5,300 Model 3s in 1 week, 300 more than their target. Elon read the report in his office. Jerome Gillen, the head of automotive, sat across from him, grinning. What changed? Jerome asked. We've been stuck at 5,000 for months. Suddenly, we jumped 300 cars in 1 week. I stopped thinking I had all the answers, Elon said simply, and I started listening to the people who actually build the cars. That's it. That's it. Marcus on Station 47 figured out we could speed up door installation. Sarah in battery assembly found a software workaround. James on Station 63 improved the wiring process. And 15 other workers contributed ideas we never would have thought of in an engineering meeting. Jerome leaned back. So the secret to breaking through production hell was trusting our team. Really trusting them. Not just telling them we trust them, but actually listening when they tell us how to do things better. Why didn't we do this before? Elon thought about that. Because I was scared. Scared of failing. Scared of looking weak. Scared of admitting I didn't know everything. He smiled sadly. Turns out fear makes you stupid and trust makes you smart. Where did you learn that? From an 11-year-old girl who can barely walk but who still dreams about Mars. Elon stood and looked out his window at the factory floor below. She reminded me that the stars are still there, even when you can't see them. You just have to remember to look up. Jerome had no idea what that meant, but he could see something had changed in Elon, something fundamental. The manic energy was still there, but it was focused differently now. Less frantic, more purposeful. So what's next? Jerome asked. Next, we hit 6,000 cars per week, then 7,000. Then we open new factories. Then we prove to the world that electric cars aren't just possible, they're inevitable. And you really think we can do it? Elon thought about Lily in her hospital room recovering from brain surgery. He'd visited her every day for a week. She was getting stronger. The swelling had gone down. The doctors said she'd be okay. And every single day, even when she was in pain, she asked him about rockets, about Mars, about the future. Yes, Elon said, I know we can do it. Because I've met a little girl who survived a car crash that killed her father, who woke up from a 3-month coma, who relearned how to walk, and who still believes humanity will build cities on Mars someday. If she can keep believing after everything she's been through, then I can definitely figure out how to make more cars. Jerome smiled. Fair point. After he left, Elon sat alone with his thoughts. Production hell was ending, not because of some brilliant engineering breakthrough or some genius insight. It was ending because he'd finally learned to see the people around him, really see them, to trust them, to learn from them. Maya had been right that night in the parking lot. Every night was a gift. You just had to remember to open it. November 5, 2018, 6:47 p.m. Lily had been in the hospital for 12 days. The surgery had gone well. The doctors had relieved the pressure in her brain and stopped the swelling. But complications followed. Seizures, fever, infections. For 3 days, Maya hadn't left her daughter's side, sleeping in the uncomfortable hospital chair, eating vending machine food, praying in Mandarin and English and any language God might understand. Elon had visited every day, sometimes for 5 minutes between meetings, sometimes for an hour. He'd sit with Maya in the waiting room or stand beside Lily's bed when she was sleeping, or read to her when she was awake but too weak to talk. Today was different. Today, Lily was sitting up. The breathing tube was gone. The color had returned to her cheeks. She was eating Jell-O and complaining that it tasted like sad water. That's what Jell-O is supposed to taste like, Maya said, laughing through her tears. Sad water with sugar. Then why do hospitals give it to sick people? Sick people need happy food. Lily took another spoonful anyway. Elon walked in carrying a balloon bouquet shaped like rockets. They were silver and red, bobbing against the ceiling when he tied them to her bed. Elon, Lily's face lit up. You came again. Of course I did. I had to make sure you're still planning to come work for SpaceX someday. I am. The doctor said my brain is healing good. He said I'm very strong. That's because you are very strong. Elon sat in the chair beside her bed. Maya stood near the window, giving them space but staying close. Elon, Lily's voice got quiet. Can I tell you something scary? Always. When I was sick, when I had the surgery, I had a dream. But it didn't feel like a dream. It felt real. What happened in it? Lily looked at her hands. I saw my daddy. He was standing in a place with lots of light. So much light I couldn't see anything else. And he said, Lily, it's not time yet. You have more work to do. Maya pressed her hand to her mouth, tears streaming down her face. I told him I missed him, Lily continued. I told him I wanted to stay with him, but he said, you can't. Your mama needs you, and the world needs you. You have to go back and keep dreaming. Elon felt his own throat tighten. What did you say? I asked him if it hurts to be dead. He laughed. He said being dead doesn't hurt. It's like sleeping without dreams. Very peaceful. But he said living is better because living is where all the dreams are. Lily looked up at Elon with her huge eyes behind the thick glasses. He told me to tell Mama something. Maya stepped closer. What, baby? What did Daddy say? He said, tell Mama the stars are still there, I'm still there, and I'm so proud of both of you. Lily's voice cracked. Then I woke up and the doctors were all around me and Mama was crying and I knew I wasn't supposed to die yet. I have too many things to do still. The room was silent except for the beeping of monitors and the sound of Maya crying. Elon didn't know if the dream was real or just Lily's brain trying to make sense of trauma and medication, but it didn't matter. What mattered was that this little girl had been close to death and had chosen to come back, had chosen to keep fighting. Your daddy was right, Elon said softly. The world does need you, because you remind people like me why we do what we do. You remind us what we're building for. Really? Really? Do you know why I want to go to Mars? Lily shook her head. Because right now, all of humanity lives on one planet. If something bad happens to Earth, an asteroid, a virus, a war, everyone dies. Every dream, every hope, every child like you. Gone. Elon leaned forward. But if we live on two planets, we have a backup plan. We have insurance. We make sure that no matter what happens, humans survive. Dreams survive. So Mars is like life insurance for everybody. Exactly, life insurance for the whole human race. Lily thought about this. Then we have to go to Mars, we have to, because kids like me deserve a future. Kids who haven't even been born yet deserve a chance. That's why I work so hard. That's why I can't give up, even when things are difficult. Because somewhere in the future, there's a kid like you who needs me to succeed. And that's why I can't give up either, Lily said firmly. Because somewhere in the future, there's a kid who needs me to become an engineer, to help build the Mars cities, to help make the future real. They sat together, the billionaire and the 11-year-old, both carrying dreams too big for their bodies but perfect for their hearts. A doctor came in to check Lily's vitals. Dr. Patricia Wang, the neurosurgeon who performed the surgery. She was a small Chinese woman in her 50s with steady hands and kind eyes. How's our miracle girl? Dr. Wang asked. I'm good. My head doesn't hurt anymore. That's what we like to hear. Dr. Wang checked the monitors, made notes on her tablet. Your brain is healing beautifully. The swelling is completely gone. No signs of infection. I think we can move you out of ICU tomorrow. Maya gasped, really, tomorrow? Really? And if things continue improving, you might go home by the end of the week. Lily cheered. Maya hugged the doctor. Even Elon felt a wave of relief so strong it made him dizzy. After Dr. Wang left, Elon stood to go. I should let you rest. Big day tomorrow, moving to a regular room. Wait, Lily said. I need to ask you something important. What is it? Do you believe in heaven? The question caught him off guard. Elon had never been particularly religious. He believed in physics, math, engineering. But looking at this child who'd survived so much, who'd had a dream about her dead father, he found himself thinking carefully before answering. I believe in something, he said finally. I don't know if it's heaven like in religious books, but I believe that energy never disappears, it just changes form. Your father's energy is still out there somewhere. Maybe in the stars he told you to look at. Maybe in the love he left behind in you and your mom. Maybe in the dreams he inspired you to have. So he's not really gone. Not really. He changed forms, like water becoming steam, still there, just different. Lily smiled. I like that. It sounds like science and magic at the same time. The best things usually are. That night, Elon sat in his car in the hospital parking lot. He didn't start the engine. He just sat there thinking about everything. A year ago, he'd been suicidal with stress. The world was crushing him. Every day felt impossible. He genuinely wondered if everyone would be better off without him. Now, sitting in this parking lot, he felt different, still tired, still stressed, still carrying impossible responsibilities, but also hopeful, connected. Like he mattered not because of what he built, but because of who he helped. His phone buzzed. A text from Maya. "Lily wants me to tell you something. She says thank you for being her friend. She says most adults pretend to listen to kids, but you really listen. That makes you a real hero, not a pretend one." Elon read it 3 times. Then he typed back, "Tell Lily she's my hero. She taught me that being broken doesn't mean being finished. It just means you're being rebuilt into something stronger." He started the car. As he drove home, he thought about what Lily had said about her father, about the dream, about being told to come back because she had more work to do. Maybe everyone had more work to do. Maybe that was the point. Not to finish everything, but to keep working, keep trying, keep believing that tomorrow could be better than today. The stars were still there. David Chen was still there somehow in the love he'd left behind. And Elon was still here, rebuilding himself one conversation at a time. November 9, 2018. Lily went home. The hospital staff lined the hallway and clapped as Maya wheeled her daughter toward the exit. Lily wore her SpaceX mission patch on her jacket. She waved like a queen to everyone. Dr. Wang walked them out personally. Keep up with physical therapy. Take the medications exactly as prescribed. Come back in 2 weeks for a checkup. And Lily, yes, keep dreaming about Mars. The world needs dreamers like you. In the parking lot, Elon was waiting beside his car. He'd cleared his entire afternoon to drive them home. "You didn't have to do this," Maya said. "I wanted to." He helped Lily into the back seat, made sure she was comfortable. As they drove through Oakland toward Hayward, Lily talked non-stop about everything she was going to do now that she was better. Physical therapy, school projects, more drawings of Mars colonies. She was going to design a new greenhouse that used less water. She was going to write a letter to NASA about her ideas. "And next year," Lily announced, "I'm going to try out for the Science Olympiad team. My teacher said I'm smart enough. I just have to work harder because my brain is slower now." "You're not slower," Elon said, glancing at her in the rearview mirror. "You're more careful, that's different. Scientists should be careful." "Really? Really? The best engineers I know take their time. They think through every detail. Fast isn't always better. Good is better." When they reached the apartment, Lily's grandmother was waiting outside with a banner she'd made. "Welcome home, Lily," in English and Chinese characters. Elon helped Maya get Lily upstairs. The apartment smelled like ginger and garlic. Grandmother had been cooking all day. The table was covered with Lily's favorite foods. "Stay for dinner," Maya insisted. "Please, we want to celebrate with you." Elon looked at his phone. He had 3 meetings scheduled, emails piling up, a conference call with SpaceX engineers in 20 minutes, but he looked at Lily's hopeful face, at Maya's grateful smile, at the grandmother who'd cooked enough food for an army. "I'd love to stay," he said. He canceled the meetings. Some things were more important than rockets. Some things were more important than billions of dollars. Some things, like friendship, like gratitude, like being present for people who mattered, were the only things that were truly important at all. They ate dinner together, they laughed, they celebrated life. And outside, the stars were still there, waiting patiently for all of them to reach up and touch them. December 24, 2018, Christmas Eve. Snow was falling in Hayward, a rare event in the Bay Area. Just light flurries, but enough to make everything look magical. Lily pressed her face against the apartment window, watching the tiny white flakes drift down. "Mama, look. It's like the sky is sending us a present." Maya smiled from the kitchen where she was preparing dumplings with her mother. The apartment smelled like sesame oil and ginger. A small Christmas tree stood in the corner, decorated with paper stars that Lily had cut out herself and ornaments from the dollar store. It wasn't fancy, but it was home. And after nearly losing Lily 2 months ago, home felt like the most precious gift in the world. "Baby, come help me fold dumplings," Maya called. Lily shuffle-walked to the kitchen. Her movement had improved since the surgery. She still dragged her left foot a little, but she could walk without holding onto furniture now. Small victories that felt like miracles. The doorbell rang. "I'll get it." Lily moved as fast as she could toward the door. Maya wiped her hands and followed. "Wait, baby, let me check first." She looked through the peephole and saw a delivery man holding a very large box. Maya opened the door. "Delivery for Lily Chen." The man checked his tablet. "Yes, that's my daughter." "I need a signature." Maya signed, confused. She hadn't ordered anything. The delivery man brought the box inside. It was almost as tall as Lily and left with a friendly "Merry Christmas." Lily stared at the box with huge eyes. "Is that for me?" "It says your name." Maya looked for a return address. Nothing, just a small card taped to the top. Lily grabbed the card with her good hand and opened it. Inside, in familiar handwriting, it said, "For someone who's going to Mars someday, the first step is believing you can take the second step. Merry Christmas. E." "It's from Elon," Lily squealed. "Mama, help me open it." Together they tore away the wrapping paper. Inside was another box, heavy and complex looking. Maya carefully opened it and gasped. It was a wheelchair, but not like any wheelchair she'd ever seen. The frame was silver and sleek, made from some kind of lightweight metal. The wheels had custom treads. There was a small control panel on the armrest with a digital screen, and mounted on the side was a tablet computer with the SpaceX logo on the cover. "Oh my," Maya whispered. Lily was already climbing into it, her hands exploring every feature. The seat was perfectly cushioned. When she touched the control panel, the screen lit up with a gentle blue glow. "Welcome, Lily," a computerized voice said. "This wheelchair was designed by Tesla engineers specifically for you. It has 3 speed settings, enhanced stability control, and a rechargeable battery that lasts for 2 days. The tablet contains educational software about space, engineering, and mathematics. It also has a video call function so you can contact mission control. That's Elon, whenever you want." Lily's mouth hung open. "This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen." Maya found another envelope inside the box. With shaking hands, she opened it. Inside was a letter, longer this time, in Elon's handwriting. "Dear Maya and Lily, these past few months have taught me something important. I spent years thinking success meant building companies, launching rockets, and making money. But I was wrong. Success means helping people reach for dreams they thought were impossible. Success means showing up for friends when they need you. Success means being changed by the people you meet, not just changing the world around you. Lily, you told me once that heroes get knocked down but always get back up. This wheelchair is designed to help you get back up, literally and figuratively. Tesla's best engineers worked on this for 3 weeks. It uses the same lightweight materials as our car frames. The battery technology is the same we use in Model 3s. And the control system was programmed by engineers who usually program self-driving features. They all volunteered their time. When I told them about you, about your dreams of Mars, about your strength, about your wisdom, every single person wanted to help. You inspired them, Lily, just like you inspired me. Maya, there's something else in this box. Look under the wheelchair manual." Maya reached under the instruction booklet and found a sealed envelope with the Tesla logo. Inside was a letter on company letterhead. "Dear Maya Chen, We are pleased to offer you a full scholarship to complete your medical technician certification program at Laney College in Oakland. Upon graduation, we are also pleased to offer you a position in Tesla's Employee Health Services Department. Starting salary: $65,000 per year, full health benefits for you and your family, tuition reimbursement for continued education, start date flexible, based on your graduation. We believe in investing in people who believe in our mission. Your dedication, strength, and positive spirit have inspired everyone who's met you. We would be honored to have you as part of our team. Sincerely, Elon Musk, CEO. Maya's legs went weak. She sat down on the floor right there, the letter shaking in her hands. She read it again, then again. $65,000 per year, full benefits, a real career, not cleaning floors at 2 a.m., not working 2 jobs until she collapsed, a real future. Mama, why are you crying? Lily wheeled over in her new chair, already mastering the controls. Because I'm happy, baby, so happy. Grandmother emerged from the kitchen speaking rapid Mandarin. Maya explained through tears. The old woman sat down beside Maya and they cried together, 2 generations of women who'd survived so much, finally seeing a door open to something better. Lily didn't fully understand why the adults were crying, but she understood the wheelchair. She understood the tablet with its space education programs. She understood that someone important, had seen her and believed in her. She pressed a button on the control panel. The tablet screen changed to a video call interface. One contact was listed: Mission Control Elon. She pressed it. After 3 rings, Elon's face appeared. He was somewhere with a Christmas tree in the background. He smiled when he saw her. "Hi, Lily, did you get your delivery?" "Elon, this is the best present in the whole world, in the whole universe." Lily was bouncing in her seat. "I feel like an astronaut already." That's the idea. Every astronaut needs the right equipment. And Mama got a letter. She's crying because she's happy. Elon's smile grew wider. "Can I talk to your mama for a second?" Lily turned the tablet so Maya could see the screen. She wiped her eyes, trying to compose herself. "Elon, I don't know what to say. This is too much. The wheelchair, the scholarship, the job offer. It's not too much. It's exactly right." His voice was gentle but firm. "You work harder than anyone I know. You raised an incredible daughter while dealing with tragedy that would break most people. You deserve a chance to build the future you want, just like Lily deserves a chance to build hers. I'll pay you back somehow, I'll." "Maya, stop. This isn't a loan, it's not charity. It's an investment in someone I believe in, someone who reminded me what matters when I'd forgotten." He paused. "You saved my life that night in the parking lot. You didn't know it, but you did. This is just me returning the favor." Maya couldn't speak. She just nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Merry Christmas, Maya. Merry Christmas, Lily. Merry Christmas, grandmother," Elon said, waving at the old woman who was watching suspiciously from the kitchen doorway. "Merry Christmas," Lily shouted. "Come visit us soon. Mama is making dumplings." "I will, I promise." After the call ended, the 3 women and 1 girl sat together in their small apartment, surrounded by the smell of cooking food, the glow of the Christmas tree, and the extraordinary gift of hope. Outside, snow continued to fall gently on Hayward, California, and somewhere across the bay, Elon Musk sat in his house, feeling more peaceful than he had in years. He wasn't thinking about stock prices or production numbers or Twitter controversies. He was thinking about a little girl in a custom wheelchair, dreaming about Mars. He was thinking about a mother who would finally have a real career. He was thinking about how sometimes the best investments weren't measured in money, but in human potential unlocked. The stars were still there, and for the first time in a long time, Elon felt like he was actually helping people reach them. Not through rockets or technology, but through something simpler and more powerful, believing in people who'd stopped believing in themselves. That was the real mission. That was what mattered. That was what would change everything. February 28, 2019, 5:47 a.m. Maya had never been on an airplane before. She gripped the armrest so tightly her knuckles turned white as the plane lifted off from San Francisco International Airport. Beside her, Lily pressed her face to the window, watching California disappear below them. "We're flying, Mama. We're actually flying." "I know, baby. I just wish we weren't so high." Elon had sent them 3 tickets to Florida: Maya, Lily, and grandmother. First-class seats on a direct flight to Orlando. A rental car waiting at the airport. A hotel room near Kennedy Space Center. Everything arranged, everything paid for. The reason? SpaceX was launching Crew Dragon to the International Space Station on March 2nd. The first test flight of the spacecraft that would eventually carry astronauts. And Elon wanted Lily to see it in person. "This is history," he'd told them on the phone. "One day when you're working for SpaceX, you'll remember this launch. You'll tell people, 'I was there at the beginning.'" Now 5 hours later, they landed in Florida. The air was warm and humid, so different from California. Palm trees lined the highways. Everything felt tropical and strange and exciting. Their hotel was modest but clean, with a view of the ocean. Lily spent the first evening on the balcony, staring at the Atlantic, watching waves crash against the shore. "The ocean is so big," she said quietly. "Space must be even bigger." "Much bigger," Maya said, sitting beside her. "Space goes on forever." "That's scary and amazing at the same time." Lily looked at her mother. "Mama, do you think Daddy would be proud of me for coming here, for still dreaming about space even after everything?" Maya pulled her daughter close. "Baby, your daddy is so proud of you. I know it. I feel it every day." "How do you know?" "Because I'm proud of you, and your daddy loved you even more than I do, if that's possible, so he must be bursting with pride." Maya kissed the top of Lily's head. "You're doing exactly what he wanted. You're living. You're dreaming. You're not letting the accident define you." "Sometimes I'm still sad, though. Is that okay?" "Of course it's okay. Being brave doesn't mean not being sad. It means being sad and still choosing to hope, still choosing to try." They sat together until the sun set over the ocean, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink and purple. March 1st, the day before the launch. Elon had arranged a private tour of Kennedy Space Center. A security guard met them at the entrance, a young woman named Rachel who smiled warmly at Lily. "You must be our VIP guest," Rachel said. "Mr. Musk told us all about you." They drove through the Space Center in a golf cart, past the vehicle assembly building, so enormous it created its own weather inside, past the launch pads where Apollo missions had departed for the moon, past museums filled with rockets from history. Lily's eyes were huge behind her glasses, trying to see everything at once. They stopped at the SpaceX facility, a modern building with the company logo displayed prominently. Inside, engineers were working at computers, monitoring systems, preparing for tomorrow's launch. And there, waiting for them in the lobby, was Elon. "You made it." He hugged Lily, then Maya, then bowed respectfully to grandmother. "How was the flight?" "Scary but good," Maya said. "Thank you for everything. This is like a dream." "Wait until you see the rocket." He led them through secure doors, down hallways lined with photos of previous launches, into a large room with floor-to-ceiling windows. And there in the distance stood the Falcon 9 rocket on Launch Complex 39A. It was magnificent, white and black, reaching toward the sky like a finger pointing at heaven. The Crew Dragon spacecraft sat on top, ready to carry its cargo to the space station. Lily couldn't speak. She just stared, her mouth open, her good hand pressed against the glass. "That's what we're launching tomorrow," Elon said quietly. "That spacecraft will dock with the International Space Station. No people on this flight, just cargo and a test dummy we call Ripley. But if this works, in a few months, we'll put real astronauts inside. American astronauts launching from American soil for the first time since 2011. "It's beautiful," Lily whispered. "Want to meet the team?" Elon introduced them to engineers, mission controllers, and technicians. Everyone was kind to Lily, answering her questions patiently, showing her computer simulations of the launch sequence. A woman named Dr. Jessica Chen, no relation to Maya, was the lead engineer on the Dragon's life support system. She spent 20 minutes explaining to Lily how the spacecraft would recycle air and water. "Someday, these same systems will keep astronauts alive on the way to Mars," Dr. Chen said. "Maybe you'll help design the next generation." "That's my dream," Lily said seriously, "to build things that help people live in space. Then study hard, learn math and physics, and never let anyone tell you that you can't do it because you're young or because you're a girl or because of your disability. The best engineers I know all had to overcome something." Later, Elon took them to meet the astronauts who would eventually fly on Crew Dragon, Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley. They were in Florida preparing for their future mission, and they'd agreed to meet Lily. Both men were genuine and warm, treating Lily like a fellow space professional rather than a starstruck child. "What's your favorite planet?" Bob asked her. "Mars, because that's where humans will live someday." "Good answer," Doug said. "That's my favorite too. Maybe by the time you're an engineer, you'll be designing the habitats we'll live in there." "I hope so," Lily said. "I already have ideas, like using underground caves for radiation protection, and growing plants in Martian soil mixed with nutrients from Earth." The astronauts exchanged impressed looks. "You've really thought about this," Bob said. "Every day, it's all I think about." Before they left, both astronauts signed a NASA photo for Lily. Doug wrote, "To Lily, future Mars colony designer, keep dreaming," Bob wrote. "The stars are waiting for people like you. Don't give up." That night, Maya couldn't sleep. She stood on the hotel balcony looking up at the stars. Tomorrow, she would watch a rocket launch. Her daughter would see history being made. 2 years ago, she'd been sitting in a hospital waiting room being told her husband was dead and her daughter might never wake up. She'd thought her life was over. She'd thought happiness was something that had died with David on Highway 880. But here she was, in Florida, with her daughter who was awake and dreaming and thriving, about to watch a rocket launch because a billionaire CEO had bumped into her in a parking lot and actually listened when she spoke. Life was strange, painful and beautiful and strange. "Can't sleep," grandmother appeared beside her speaking in Mandarin. "Too excited, too grateful, too many feelings." "That man, Elon, he is good to you," to Lily. "Yes, very good." Why does he care about us? We're nobody." Maya thought about this. "I think we remind him of something he forgot. Something about why he does what he does. He builds rockets to help humanity, but sometimes he forgets that humanity means real people, people like us." Grandmother nodded slowly. "David would like him." Yes, David would like him very much. They stood together in comfortable silence, two women who'd survived loss and poverty and immigration and tragedy, now standing on the edge of watching dreams become real. March 2, 2019. Launch day. They arrived at Kennedy Space Center at 6 a.m. The launch was scheduled for 2:49 a.m. on March 3rd, but Elon had invited them to spend the whole day at the Space Center, watching preparations. Thousands of people had gathered, journalists, NASA officials, SpaceX employees, space enthusiasts from around the world. But Lily had a special viewing area close to mission control where she could see everything. The day crawled by. Engineers ran final checks, Weather reports were analyzed. Systems were tested and retested. Lily watched it all on monitors, asking questions constantly, absorbing information like a sponge. As evening approached, the tension grew. This launch mattered. Not just for SpaceX, but for America's space program, for the future of commercial spaceflight, for the dream of eventually reaching Mars. At midnight, they moved to the outdoor viewing area. The rocket was visible in the distance, illuminated by spotlights, looking like a monument to human ambition. The crowd grew quiet as the countdown began. T-minus 10 minutes. Lily held Maya's hand on one side and Elon's hand on the other. Her whole body trembled with excitement. T-minus 5 minutes. Final systems checks. Everything green, weather acceptable, all systems go. T-minus 1 minute. The world seemed to hold its breath. "This is really happening," Lily whispered. "This is really happening," Elon confirmed. T-minus 10 seconds. The crowd began counting down together. Thousands of voices unified in anticipation. 10, 9, 8, 7. Lily closed her eyes. Maya saw her lips moving, whispering something. A prayer, a wish, a message to her father in the stars. 3, 2, 1. Lift off. The rocket exploded with light and sound. Flames erupted from the base, brighter than the sun. The Falcon 9 lifted slowly at first, then faster, accelerating upward on a pillar of fire. The sound hit them, a physical force that shook the ground, vibrated in their chests, filled the entire world. It was overwhelming, incredible, impossible. Lily's eyes flew open. She screamed with pure joy, "Daddy, Mama, it's flying. It's really flying." Tears streamed down her face as she watched the rocket climb higher and higher, punching through the atmosphere, carrying its cargo toward the stars. The crowd cheered. People hugged strangers. Grown men and women cried openly. But Lily just stood there in her custom wheelchair, her face tilted toward the sky, watching the bright point of light grow smaller and smaller until it disappeared into the darkness. "I'm going to do that someday," she said quietly, so only Maya and Elon could hear. "I'm going to help send people to space, to Mars, to the future." "I know you will," Elon said. "I absolutely know you will." Maya looked at her daughter, 11 years old, partially paralyzed, orphaned by a drunk driver, survivor of a 3-month coma, standing tall in her wheelchair, watching her dreams take physical form and fly into space. And she thought, this is what David meant. This is what "the stars are still there" means. No matter how dark life gets, no matter what you lose, no matter how broken you feel, the stars are still there. Dreams are still possible. Hope still exists. You just have to remember to look up. You just have to keep believing. You just have to keep trying. The rocket was gone now, but the feeling remained. The sense of possibility. The reminder that humans could do impossible things when they worked together, when they believed, when they refused to give up. Elon put his arm around Maya's shoulders. "Thank you," he said softly. "For what?" "For bumping into me that night. For reminding me why I do this. For letting me be part of your family's journey." "You have it backwards," Maya said. "We should thank you." "No, it's exactly right. We saved each other. That's what people do. That's what matters." They stood together. The billionaire, the janitor, the little girl with impossible dreams, and the grandmother who traveled halfway around the world for love, watching the stars and believing in tomorrow. June 2019, 3 months after the launch. Life had changed in small but significant ways. Maya had started her classes at Laney College. Medical terminology, anatomy, patient care basics. It was hard, studying in English while caring for Lily and her mother, but it was the good kind of hard. The kind that built something instead of just surviving. Lily had returned to her special school, but she was different now. More confident, more focused. She'd given a presentation to her class about the Crew Dragon launch, showing photos and explaining how the spacecraft worked. Her teachers said she'd inspired half the class to research space careers. And Elon had kept his promise to visit. Not every week, but once a month he'd show up at their apartment for dinner. Sometimes he'd bring engineering problems and ask Lily's opinion. She'd offer ideas with the fearless creativity of a child who didn't know what was impossible. Once, she'd suggested using magnetic levitation for Mars rovers to avoid wheel damage from rough terrain. Elon had actually brought the idea to his engineers. They'd explained why it wouldn't work with current technology, but they'd admitted the core concept was innovative. "You think different because you don't know the rules yet," Elon had told her. "That's actually an advantage. Sometimes the rules are wrong." Now, on a warm Saturday evening in June, Elon's car pulled up outside the apartment building in Hayward, but this time felt different. Maya could see it in his face when he walked up the stairs. Something was on his mind. "Everything okay?" she asked as she let him in. "Yes, good, I need to ask you something, both of you." Lily wheeled over from the living room where she'd been doing homework. "Hi, Elon. I finished my math test yesterday. I got an A." "That's amazing. I knew you would." He sat down on the couch and Maya could see his hands were fidgeting, something he rarely did. "Lily, Maya, can we talk about something important?" "Of course," Maya said, sitting down beside him. Grandmother emerged from the kitchen, wiping her hands, sensing the serious tone. Elon took a deep breath. "I've been thinking a lot these past few months, about that night we met, about everything that's happened since, and I realized something." "What?" Lily asked. "I've been telling people, friends, interviewers, board members, about how you two changed my perspective, how meeting you helped me remember what matters, but I've never asked you something important." He looked at Maya directly. "That first night when I bumped into you in the parking lot, you said something that stopped me cold. You said, 'Every night is long, but every night is also a gift.' Do you remember?" "Yes," Maya said quietly, "I remember." "Why did you say that? What did you mean?" Maya was quiet for a long moment. She glanced at Lily, then at her mother, then back at Elon. "Can I tell you the truth, the whole truth?" "Please." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "That night, the night you bumped into me, was the worst night of my life. Worse than the accident, worse than David dying, worse than watching Lily in a coma." Elon leaned forward. "Why, what happened?" "Earlier that day, I got a letter from the hospital about Lily. They said she needed another surgery, very expensive. The insurance wouldn't cover it. Maybe $40,000, maybe more." Maya's voice shook. "I didn't have $40,000. I barely had $400. "Oh, Maya." "I spent the whole day trying to figure out what to do. I called the hospital to beg for payment plans. I called loan companies. Nothing worked. My credit was bad from David's medical bills. Nobody would help." She wiped her eyes. "So I made a decision. I decided to quit my job, sell everything, and take Lily back to China. Surgery there would be cheaper. We'd give up America. Give up everything we'd worked for. But at least Lily would get help." Lily gasped. "Mama, I didn't know that." "I didn't tell you, baby. You were already dealing with so much." Maya continued. "That night, the night I met Elon, I was walking to the supervisor's office to quit, to turn in my badge and my uniform and give up. I'd packed the cleaning cart for the last time. I was done, finished, defeated." Elon's face had gone pale. "But you didn't quit." "No, because you crashed into me." Maya smiled through her tears. "When we were picking up the cleaning supplies, you said something. You probably don't even remember. You said, 'I'm sorry. I'm so distracted. I feel like I'm failing everyone who's counting on me.'" I said that. Yes, and it hit me like lightning. Here was Elon Musk, famous billionaire, genius, the man building the future, and he felt like he was failing too. He was struggling just like me. He was scared just like me. But he hadn't quit. He was still there, still trying, still fighting. Elon sat back, stunned. "So when you said, Every night is long, but every night is also a gift. I was saying it to myself, not to you. I was reminding myself not to give up, because if you, this incredible person, could struggle and keep going, then maybe I could too. Maya reached out and took his hand. You didn't save me that night, Elon. I saved myself. But you gave me a reason to try. You showed me that struggling doesn't mean failing. It just means you're still fighting. The apartment was completely silent. Even grandmother, who didn't understand all the English, seemed to sense the weight of what was being said. I had no idea, Elon whispered. All this time I thought I helped you, but really we were both drowning. We just pulled each other up. Yes, exactly. Maya squeezed his hand. That's what I've been trying to tell you for months. You keep thanking me for changing your life, but you changed mine too. We saved each other. Lily had been listening carefully, processing everything. Now she spoke up, her voice clear and strong despite the emotion. That's what Daddy meant. That's what the stars are still there means. It doesn't mean the stars save you. It means they remind you that you can save yourself. They remind you to keep looking up, keep trying, keep believing. She looked at both of them. You were each other's stars that night. You reminded each other to keep shining. Elon couldn't hold back his tears anymore. He cried openly, this man who'd built rockets and revolutionized industries, crying in a small apartment in Hayward, because an 11-year-old girl had just explained the meaning of life better than any philosopher ever could. I need to tell you something else, Maya said softly. After you kept visiting us, after you helped with Lily's surgery, after the wheelchair and the scholarship and the job offer, I wanted to tell you this truth so many times. But I was afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid you'd think I used you, that I became your friend because I wanted something from you. But it wasn't like that. I never expected anything. I needed you to know the real story. That the thing you said that changed everything wasn't something you said to me. It was something you said to yourself that I overheard. You didn't mean to save me, but you did. Just by being human, just by being vulnerable, just by admitting you were struggling too. Elon shook his head in wonder. All these months, I've been telling people that you taught me to appreciate every moment, to see the gift in every night. And you were actually teaching yourself that lesson. I just happened to be there. We happened to be there for each other, Maya corrected gently. At exactly the right moment. That's not coincidence. That's fate. That's the universe putting two people who needed each other in the same parking lot at the same time. A beautiful accident, Lily said, echoing the phrase from her letter. Yes, Maya agreed. The most beautiful accident of my life. Elon stood up and walked to the window. He looked out at the street below, at the ordinary neighborhood where extraordinary things had happened, where a janitor and a billionaire had collided and somehow saved each other without even knowing it. I'm writing a letter, he said suddenly, turning back to them. To every SpaceX and Tesla employee, about what really matters, about why we do what we do, about how success isn't measured in rockets launched or cars sold, but in lives touched, in people helped, in human connections that remind us why we're alive. Will you tell them about us? Lily asked. Only if you want me to. This is your story as much as mine. Lily thought about it. Tell them. Tell them that a little girl who can't walk right is still dreaming about Mars. Tell them that her mama almost gave up but didn't. Tell them that sometimes the people we think need saving are actually the people who save us. She smiled. Tell them the stars are still there, always. Elon knelt down beside her wheelchair. You're the wisest person I know, Lily Chen. And when you grow up and start working for SpaceX, because you will, I'm going to make sure everyone knows that you're the person who taught the CEO what really matters. Deal, Lily said, holding out her hand. They shook on it formally like business partners sealing an agreement. But really they were sealing something much deeper, a friendship, a bond. a shared understanding that life was about the accidental collisions that became purposeful connections. That night after Elon left, Maya tucked Lily into bed. She sang the old Chinese lullaby her own mother had sung to her as a child. "Mama," Lily said sleepily, "do you think Daddy knows about everything that happened? About Elon and the launch and how our lives got better?" "Yes, baby, I think he knows. I think he's been watching the whole time." "Good, I want him to be proud." "He is, Lily. He's so proud he could burst." As Maya turned off the light, Lily whispered one more thing. "Mama, I'm glad you didn't quit that night. I'm glad you kept going." "Me too, baby, me too." Outside, the stars watched over Hayward, California, silent and patient and eternal, still there, always there, waiting for people brave enough to look up. August 2019, Tesla headquarters, Palo Alto. Elon stood at the podium in the main auditorium. Every seat was filled. Over 2,000 employees gathered for the quarterly company meeting. Thousands more watched via live stream from factories in Fremont, Nevada, Buffalo, and Shanghai. This wasn't his usual presentation about production numbers or new vehicle features. Today was different. "I want to tell you a story," Elon began. His voice was calm, steady. "About a night last September when I almost gave up on everything." The room went silent. People leaned forward. "I was walking through the factory parking lot at 2 in the morning. I hadn't slept in 3 days. The SEC was investigating me. Short sellers were betting billions that we'd fail. The media was writing our obituary, and I felt empty, like I was carrying a weight so heavy that it was crushing me into nothing." He paused, looking around the room at the faces watching him. "I was staring at my phone, reading angry tweets when I crashed into someone, literally knocked them over. It was a night shift janitor named Maya Chen. And in that moment, picking up her cleaning supplies off the ground, I said something to myself. I said, I feel like I'm failing everyone who's counting on me." Several people in the audience nodded. They remembered those dark days. Maya heard me say that, and she responded with something simple. "Every night is long, but every night is also a gift." At the time, I thought she was trying to make me feel better, but I found out recently that she was actually talking to herself. Elon told them the story, about Maya's dying husband, about Lily's accident and coma, about the hospital bill Maya couldn't pay, about how she decided to quit that very night to give up on America and go back to China. She heard me admit I was struggling, and it reminded her that everyone struggles, even people who seem successful. That gave her the strength to not quit. And without knowing it, she gave me the same gift. She reminded me that work isn't about achievement or stock prices or proving people wrong. It's about people. Real people with real problems who need real solutions. The room was absolutely quiet. Over the next few months, I got to know Maya and her daughter Lily. Lily is 11 years old. She's partially paralyzed from the accident. She can't walk normally. She has to work twice as hard as other kids to learn because her brain was damaged. But she has a dream. She wants to be an aerospace engineer. She wants to help design the habitats we'll live in on Mars. Several people were wiping their eyes. Lily taught me something crucial. She taught me that struggling doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. That asking for help isn't failure, it's wisdom. That the people we think need saving are often the ones who save us. Elon's voice grew stronger. So today, I'm announcing some changes that should have happened years ago. He clicked to the next slide. First, enhanced family support benefits, better healthcare coverage, mental health services with no copays, childcare assistance. Because if we expect people to give their best at work, we need to support their families at home. Applause started, then grew. Second, education support. Any employee who wants to continue their education, Whether it's finishing high school, getting a degree, or learning new skills, Tesla will provide tuition assistance. Because investing in our people is investing in our future. More applause. Third, worker input programs. Every month, production line workers will meet with engineering teams to share improvements they've discovered. Because the people building our cars know things that those of us in offices don't, and we need to listen to them. The applause became cheers. These changes won't happen overnight. They'll cost money. They'll require new systems, but they're necessary. Because this company exists to serve humanity, and humanity starts with the people in this room, with you, with your families, with your dreams and struggles and hopes. Elon looked directly into the camera that was streaming to other locations. Maya Chen works in our employee health services now. She's studying to become a nurse practitioner while helping our team stay healthy. Lily Chen visits our factory sometimes, asking questions, learning, preparing for the day when she'll work here too. They're part of our Tesla family. And I want everyone to know their story because it represents what we should be. A company that doesn't just build products, but builds people up. He paused, emotion visible on his face. A year ago, I was broken, I was failing, and a janitor with more wisdom than I had, a woman who'd lost everything but kept going, she reminded me what mattered. She didn't give me advice. She didn't fix my problems. She just showed me, by example, that courage looks like showing up even when you're scared. That strength looks like trying again even when you fail. That hope looks like believing in tomorrow even when today is impossible. The room erupted in applause. People stood. Some were crying openly. When the room quieted, Elon said one more thing. If you're struggling with work, with life, with anything, please ask for help. Use the new resources we're providing. Talk to someone, because you matter. Not because of what you produce or how fast you work, but because you're human. And humans are what we're really building for. The cars, the technology, the innovation, it's all meaningless if it doesn't serve real people living real lives. After the meeting, employees lined up to talk to him. Not about production or engineering problems, but about their lives, about sick parents, about children with special needs, about financial struggles, about dreams they'd given up on. Elon listened to each person, really listened, not while checking his phone or thinking about the next meeting, just listened. One young engineer named Robert said, "Mr. Musk, my daughter has cerebral palsy. She's 7. When you talked about Lily, I just wanted to say thank you for seeing people like my daughter as valuable, as full of potential." Your daughter is valuable, Elon said firmly. And if she ever wants to tour SpaceX or Tesla, you call my assistant directly. Promise. Robert nodded, unable to speak. A factory worker named Maria said, "I've been cleaning the bathrooms here for 3 years. I always thought you didn't notice people like me. But you noticed Maya. Maybe you'll notice all of us now." "I should have noticed years ago," Elon admitted. "I was too focused on big problems to see the real people solving them every day. That was my mistake. I'm trying to do better." That evening, Elon drove to Hayward. He found Maya at home helping Lily with a science project about Mars soil composition. "How did it go?" Maya asked. She'd watched the live stream during her lunch break. "Good, really good. People cried. People thanked me. People told me their stories." Elon sat down at their small kitchen table, and I realized something. That meeting, that vulnerability, that's scarier than any rocket launch I've ever done. Why? Because rockets are predictable. Physics, math, engineering, I understand those. But emotions, human connection, admitting weakness to thousands of employees, that's terrifying. Lily looked up from her project. "But you did it anyway. That's what heroes do. They do scary things because the things are important, not because the things are easy." Elon smiled. "Did you just quote President Kennedy?" I changed it a little. His version was good, but mine is better." They all laughed. "Lily," Elon said, "I told everyone your story today, about the accident, about your dreams, about how you inspired me. I hope that's okay." "It's okay. If my story helps people, then the accident wasn't just a bad thing. It became a thing that teaches something. That makes it worth something." Maya hugged her daughter. "When did you become so wise?" "I've always been wise, you just started noticing." Lily grinned, then went back to her project. Elon watched them work together, mother and daughter, survivors, fighters, dreamers. He thought about the changes he'd announced today, the programs that would help thousands of families, the policies that would make life easier for people who were struggling. All of it traced back to one moment, one collision. One conversation that wasn't even really a conversation, just two broken people admitting they were struggling. "Maya," Elon said quietly. "Yes. I've been thinking about something, about what you said, how we saved each other without meaning to. Do you think that's how change really happens? Not through big plans or grand strategies, but through small moments when people actually see each other?" Maya stopped helping Lily and looked at him thoughtfully. "I think change happens when we stop pretending we're fine, when we admit we need help, when we let people see us as we really are, scared and tired and struggling." She smiled. "You changed because you let yourself be vulnerable that night. You admitted you felt like you were failing. That honesty opened a door, and we both walked through it together. So the real change wasn't the programs I announced today, or the policies, or the money. Those things matter. They'll help real people. But the real change was you learning to be human again. Learning that it's okay to not have all the answers. Learning that connection matters more than perfection." Elon nodded slowly. "The real change was inside. Always is. Outside change comes later, but it starts inside, with one person deciding to be honest, to be real, to admit they need help." Maya reached across the table and took his hand. "You did that, Elon. And because you did, thousands of people at Tesla will feel safer being honest too. That's the real gift. Not the benefits or the programs, though those help. The real gift is permission to be human." Grandmother brought out tea and almond cookies. They sat together around the small table, drinking jasmine tea, eating cookies, talking about Mars colonies and science projects and the future. Outside, the stars were still there. But inside this small apartment in Hayward, something equally bright was shining. Human connection, real friendship, the kind of love that comes from truly seeing each other. That was the real change. That was what would last long after the rockets and cars were forgotten. That was what mattered most. May 2022. 3 years had passed like a river, sometimes rushing, sometimes peaceful, but always moving forward. Maya stood at her kitchen window, watching the morning sun rise over Hayward. She wore scrubs now, light blue ones with her name embroidered on the pocket, Maya Chen, RN. She'd graduated from nursing school 2 months ago, not just as a medical technician, but as a registered nurse. Tesla had supported her through the entire program. Her apartment was different now too. Not bigger, they couldn't afford to move, but fuller somehow. The walls held framed photos, Maya receiving her nursing degree, Lily at a science Olympiad competition, grandmother's 70th birthday celebration. Evidence of a life being lived, not just survived. "Mama, have you seen my tablet?" Lily's voice called from her bedroom. "In the living room, baby, where you left it last night." Lily emerged, moving much better than she had 3 years ago. She still had a limp, still tired more easily than other kids, but she could walk without her wheelchair most days now. The wheelchair, Elon's gift, sat in the corner, used only for long distances or tiring days. At 14, Lily had grown taller, though she was still small for her age. Her thick glasses had been replaced by contacts. She wore her hair in a ponytail just like her mother. "I have that video call with the SpaceX education team today," Lily said, finding her tablet. They want to talk about the summer internship program. You're only 14. Isn't that too young for an internship? It's a special program for high school students interested in aerospace. I applied 3 months ago. Remember? Lily rolled her eyes in that universal teenage way. Only 50 students in the whole country get selected. I remember now. I'm just nervous for you. Don't be. I've been preparing my whole life for this. Maya smiled. Her daughter's confidence had grown along with her body. The shy, broken girl from the hospital was becoming a determined young woman with clear goals. The tablet chimed. Lily answered the video call. On the screen appeared a woman in her 30s wearing a SpaceX polo shirt. Good morning. Is this Lily Chen? Yes, ma'am, that's me. I'm Dr. Sarah Martinez, Director of the SpaceX Education Initiative. I've been reviewing your application, and I have to say, I'm impressed. Your essay about using indigenous plant adaptations to improve Mars' greenhouse efficiency was really innovative. Lily's face glowed. Thank you. I got the idea from studying how desert plants conserve water. Mars is basically a cold desert, so I thought similar principles might work. They talked for 20 minutes. Dr. Martinez asked about Lily's grades, mostly A's, a few B's in English. Her interests, anything related to space, obviously, and her long-term goals, aerospace engineer, habitat designer, maybe mission planner. There's one more thing I need to tell you, Dr. Martinez said near the end. This internship is competitive. We had over 3,000 applications, but your essay stood out. Not just because of the science, though that was solid, but because of something else you wrote. What part? You wrote, I want to help design Mars habitats because I know what it's like to live in a body that doesn't work right. I know about adapting to hostile environments. I know about making the impossible possible, one day at a time. Earth taught me to survive. Mars will teach humanity to thrive. That paragraph, Lily, that showed us you understand what space exploration is really about. Lily blinked back tears. Does that mean? Welcome to the SpaceX Summer Internship Program. You're one of our 50 selectees. Congratulations. Lily screamed, actually screamed with joy. Maya came running, and when she heard the news, she screamed too. Even grandmother emerged from her room, alarmed by the noise, then smiling when she understood. After the call ended, Lily sat very still, staring at her tablet. You okay, baby? Maya asked. Mama, I need to go somewhere. Can we go today? Where? To Daddy's grave. I need to tell him. They drove to the cemetery in Oakland where David Chen was buried. It was a modest place. They couldn't afford fancy headstones or elaborate plots. David's marker was simple gray granite with his name, dates, and a single line in English and Chinese. Beloved husband and father, still shining among the stars. Lily knelt beside the grave, her hand touching the cool stone. Hi, Daddy, it's me. Lily, I'm 14 now. Can you believe it? You missed my last birthday, but I know you were there somehow. You're always there. Maya stood back, giving her daughter space. Grandmother waited in the car. Daddy, I got accepted to SpaceX to their summer internship program. I'm going to work at the same company that builds the rockets, the ones you knew I loved. Lily's voice cracked. I wish you could see me. I wish you could be there when I start. But Mama says you're watching. She says you're proud. The wind blew gently through the cemetery trees. I'm still me, Daddy, even after the accident. Even though I walk funny and my left hand doesn't work great and sometimes my brain gets tired and I need extra help with things. I'm still the same Lily who wanted to go to Mars. Remember, you used to read me books about space explorers. You said one day I'd be one of them. She pulled a piece of paper from her pocket, folded carefully, edges worn from being carried around. I wrote you a letter. I wrote it the night before my internship interview. I want to read it to you." She unfolded the paper and began. "Dear Daddy, I'm going to work for SpaceX this summer. I'm going to walk into the same buildings where they design rockets, where they plan Mars missions, where they dream about the future. And I'm going to work hard. I'm going to learn everything. I'm going to become the engineer you knew I could be. Some days I'm still sad that you're gone. Some days I wish the drunk driver had just stayed home that night. I wish you could have tucked me in one more time, told me one more story, seen me grow up. But Mama taught me something. She said that wishing for different doesn't change what is. She said the stars are still there even when we can't see them, even when clouds cover everything. They're still there, still shining, waiting for us to look up. You're my star, Daddy. When things are hard, when I want to give up, when people say I can't do something because of my disability, I think of you. I think of how you worked so hard to give us a better life. How you believed in me even when I was just a little kid with big dreams. I'm going to make you proud, Daddy. I'm going to reach those stars you told me about. Maybe not as an astronaut, my body probably can't handle space travel anymore, but as an engineer, as someone who helps other people reach the stars. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being my daddy, even if it was only for 9 years. Some people never get a daddy like you. I was lucky. The stars are still there, and so are you. I love you forever, your Lily." By the time she finished reading, both Lily and Maya were crying. They held each other beside David's grave, 2 survivors still fighting, still hoping, still believing. "He's proud of you," Maya whispered. "I know he is. I feel it." "Me too, Mama, me too." That evening, Elon called. He'd heard about Lily's acceptance. Dr. Martinez had told him personally. "A SpaceX intern," Elon said, his voice full of genuine pride. "Do you know how competitive that program is?" Dr. Martinez told me, 3,000 applications. "And you made it because you're brilliant, because you work hard, because you understand what space exploration really means." He paused. "Your dad would be so proud, Lily." I went to his grave today to tell him. "What did you say?" "That I'm going to reach the stars he told me about. That I'm going to help build the future he dreamed of. That even though he's gone, he's still teaching me how to be brave." Elon was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was thick. "You know what I think? I think your dad put you in that parking lot 3 years ago. I think he made sure you and your mom were there exactly when I needed you most. I think he's been orchestrating this whole thing from wherever he is now." "You really believe that?" "I believe that some meetings are too perfect to be accidents. I believe that the universe puts people together who need each other. And I believe your dad loved you so much that he's still looking out for you, even from the stars." Lily smiled through her tears. "I believe that too." "One more thing, Lily. During your internship, you'll work on real projects, not busy work or educational stuff. Real engineering problems that real teams are solving. Are you ready for that?" "I've been ready my whole life." "Good, because we need people like you. People who have survived impossible things and still believe in impossible dreams. Those are the people who change the world." After the call, Lily sat in her room, surrounded by her drawings of Mars colonies and rocket designs. She looked at the Falcon Heavy model Elon had given her years ago, still displayed prominently on her desk. 3 years ago, she'd been a sick child in a hospital, fighting for her life. 2 years ago, she'd been relearning to walk, struggling with simple tasks. 1 year ago, she'd been wondering if her dreams were too big for her broken body. Now she was a SpaceX intern. Now she was proof that broken didn't mean finished. Now she was exactly who her father had believed she'd become, someone who reached for the stars no matter how impossible they seemed. Maya knocked softly and entered. "Time for bed, baby. Big day tomorrow." "Every day is a big day now, Mama." True, but sleep is still important. She sat on the edge of Lily's bed. I'm so proud of you, you know that, right? I know, and I'm proud of you too. You're a nurse now. You help people every day. That's just as important as building rockets. We're both building the future, just in different ways. Exactly, Lily yawned. Mama, do you still miss Daddy? Every single day, but missing him doesn't hurt as much as it used to. Now it just reminds me to be grateful. Grateful I had him at all. Grateful for you. Grateful we survived. The stars are still there, Lily said softly. Always, baby, always. Maya turned off the light and closed the door. In the darkness, Lily looked out her window at the night sky. Somewhere up there, beyond the clouds and light pollution, the stars were shining. And somewhere up there, her father was watching, still proud, still loving her, still showing her the way home. September 2023, 5 years after the collision. Elon sat in his office at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. Outside his window, engineers moved between buildings. A Falcon 9 booster stood in the distance, being prepared for its next flight. His assistant knocked. "Mr. Musk, there's a letter for you," hand-delivered. The courier said it was urgent and personal. She handed him a cream-colored envelope. His name was written on the front in careful, practiced handwriting. He recognized it immediately, Lily's. He opened it carefully. "Dear Mr. Musk, I am 15 years old now. My mama says I should tell you something she has kept secret because she didn't want you to feel bad. The night you met her, the first time when you knocked over her cart, that was the worst night of her life. Worse than the accident, worse than Daddy dying, worse than anything. Earlier that day, she had gotten a letter from the hospital. They said I needed another surgery, very expensive. Insurance wouldn't pay. Mama didn't have the money. She had decided that night, the night she met you, that she would quit everything and go back to China where surgery was cheaper. She was going to give up her dreams, give up America, give up everything for me. She was walking to the manager's office to quit when you crashed into her. And you said something you probably don't remember, but Mama does. When you were picking up her cleaning supplies, you said, "I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. I feel like I'm failing everyone who's counting on me." And Mama said, "Every night is long, but every night is also a gift." She said that to you, but she said it for herself, to remind herself not to quit, because you, this famous man, this genius, you were struggling too, and you hadn't quit, so she didn't quit either. She went back to work. She decided to find another way, and then you kept showing up, and you kept talking to her, and you kept reminding her without knowing it that struggling doesn't mean failing. Elon stopped reading. His hands were shaking. He'd known this story. Maya had told him months ago. But seeing it written in Lily's careful handwriting, understanding the full weight of what had almost happened that night, hit him differently. He continued reading. The thing you said that changed everything wasn't something you said to her. It was something you said to yourself that she overheard. You didn't save her that night. She saved herself. But you gave her a reason to try. "I'm writing this because next month I'm having my final surgery. The doctors say I might walk normally afterward, maybe even run. And if I can run, I'm going to run to the track team tryouts. And if I make the team, I'm going to run in my daddy's memory. And after high school, I'm applying to MIT. I want to study aerospace engineering. I want to work for SpaceX. I want to help build the future you're creating. Mama says I shouldn't ask you for anything else because you've done so much. But I'm going to ask anyway. Will you please come to my surgery? Not as the CEO of Tesla or SpaceX, just as our friend. Because 5 years ago, you bumped into my mama by accident. And that accident changed both of your lives. Maybe that's what all the best things are. Beautiful accidents. Love, Lily Chen. P.S. The surgery is scheduled for October 15th at UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. 8 a.m. I understand if you're too busy, but I wanted to ask. Elon sat back in his chair. October 15th was 3 weeks away. He checked his calendar, it was packed. Board meetings, product launches, a critical test flight at SpaceX calls with engineers in 3 different countries. He picked up his phone and called his assistant. Clear my schedule for October 15th. Everything. I don't care how important it is, reschedule it all. Sir, you have the Starship presentation that day. It's been scheduled for 6 months. Reschedule it, this is more important. May I ask what for? Friend needs me, that's all that matters. October 15, 2023, 6:30 a.m. Elon arrived at the hospital carrying a stuffed Mars rover toy he'd bought at the SpaceX gift shop. It was silly, maybe childish, but he thought Lily would like it. He found Maya in the pre-surgery waiting room. Her mother sat beside her holding a rosary and murmuring prayers in Mandarin. Both women looked exhausted, they'd probably been here since 5 a.m. Elon, Maya stood, surprised. You came. I didn't know if Lily actually sent that letter. Of course I came, where is she? Getting prepped, they let us say goodbye 15 minutes ago. Maya's voice cracked. This surgery is risky. The doctor said there's a chance of more brain damage if anything goes wrong. But if it works, she might walk normally, run, dance. All the things we thought she'd never do. She's strong, she'll make it. How do you know? Because I've watched her survive impossible things for 5 years. This is just one more. They sat together. Grandmother offered Elon tea from a thermos she'd brought. He accepted gratefully, letting the warm jasmine flavor comfort him. Maya, Elon said quietly, I'm glad she told me. About that night, about you almost quitting, I needed to know the whole truth. I was afraid you'd be upset, that you'd think I used you. Never, I think we were both drowning that night and we grabbed onto each other without realizing it. We pulled each other to shore. He looked at her seriously. You know what the real miracle is? Not that I happened to be walking through that parking lot, not that we bumped into each other. The real miracle is that we both admitted we were struggling. That moment of honesty, that's what saved us. Not the collision, the vulnerability. I never thought about it that way. I have, a lot. If I'd walked past you that night without stopping, if I'd been too proud to help pick up your supplies, if I just said sorry and kept walking, none of this would have happened. You'd be in China. Lily would have had cheaper surgery but maybe not the best care. And I'd probably be, he trailed off. What? Honestly, I don't know if I'd still be here. That's how dark it was getting. The SEC investigation, the stress, the feeling of failing everyone. I was close to a very bad place. And then you reminded me that every night is a gift. You reminded me to keep going. A nurse appeared. Mrs. Chen, we're bringing Lily to the operating room now. You can see her for one more minute if you'd like. They followed the nurse to the pre-op area. Lily lay on a gurney in a hospital gown, her hair tucked into a surgical cap. She looked tiny and brave and scared all at once. When she saw Elon, her face lit up. You came. You really came. Of course I did. You asked me to. He handed her the stuffed rover. For good luck. This little guy has been to Mars and back virtually anyway. He'll keep you safe. Lily hugged the toy to her chest. Thank you for everything, for the past 5 years, for being my friend, for believing in me when I couldn't believe in myself. That's what friends do. Elon took her hand, her good hand, the right one. I'll be here when you wake up, I promise. What if I don't wake up? The question hung in the air. Maya gasped. Grandmother started crying. Elon squeezed Lily's hand gently. You will, you know why, because you still have work to do. You have to intern at SpaceX this summer. You have to apply to MIT. You have to help design the Mars habitats. You have to prove to the world that broken doesn't mean finished. The universe needs you, Lily. You're not done yet. You really think so? I know so. The stars are still there, and they're waiting for you. Lily smiled, a real smile, brave and beautiful. "Okay, I'll come back then, I promise." The anesthesiologist entered. "Time to go, sweetheart. We're going to take good care of you." They wheeled Lily away. Maya collapsed into Elon's arms, sobbing. He held her while she cried, while grandmother prayed, while the minutes stretched into hours. The surgery was supposed to take 6 hours. It took 8. Elon sat with them the entire time. He didn't check his phone, didn't take calls, didn't think about SpaceX or Tesla or anything except the little girl fighting for her future in an operating room down the hall. At 4:47 p.m., the neurosurgeon finally emerged. Dr. Patricia Wang, the same doctor who'd operated on Lily 5 years ago. Her face was tired but smiling. "She's okay," Dr. Wang said immediately, seeing their terrified faces. "The surgery went perfectly, better than perfectly. The procedure was successful." Maya couldn't speak. She just stared. "We removed the scar tissue that was restricting her motor control. We repaired the damaged neural pathways using a new technique that's only been approved for 2 years. And we tested her responses before closing. Lily, even under anesthesia, had better motor function than before." "What does that mean?" Elon asked. "It means that when she wakes up, when she goes through physical therapy, when she heals, there's a very good chance she'll walk normally, maybe even run. Her left side should function almost as well as her right." Dr. Wang's smile grew. "I've been a neurosurgeon for 28 years. I've seen a lot of miracles, but Lily Chen might be the biggest one. That girl has fought so hard for so long, and her body finally decided to reward her." Maya collapsed into a chair, crying so hard she couldn't breathe. Grandmother was praying in Mandarin, thanking every deity she could name. Elon just stood there, tears streaming down his face, feeling more grateful than he'd ever felt in his life. "Can we see her?" Maya asked. "She's in recovery, still unconscious from anesthesia. Give her another hour, then you can sit with her." After Dr. Wang left, the 3 of them sat in silence. Not the anxious silence from before, but the peaceful silence of relief, of gratitude, of joy. "Elon," Maya said softly, "thank you for being here, for keeping your promise to her." "I wouldn't have been anywhere else in the world." He meant it. There was no board meeting, no product launch, no business deal more important than this moment. "You know what I realized today," Maya said. 5 years ago, we were strangers. I was a janitor. You were a CEO. We shouldn't have even spoken to each other. Our worlds were too different. But we did speak. We did connect." "Yes, because we were both human, both struggling, both needing someone to see us as we really were." She looked at him. "You've given us so much. The wheelchair, the scholarship, the job, the friendship. But the biggest gift was that first night. The gift of honesty, of vulnerability, of showing me that even successful people feel like they're failing sometimes. And you gave me the gift of perspective, of remembering why any of this matters, of seeing the human cost and the human reward of what we build." They sat together, waiting for Lily to wake up, thinking about the beautiful accident that had brought them together, about how a collision in a parking lot had saved 2 lives, maybe 3 if you counted Lily, about how the stars were still there, still shining, still waiting, and about how sometimes the most important moments in life look like disasters at first, cleaning supplies scattered across pavement, 2 exhausted people too tired to pretend they were okay. But those disasters could become miracles. If you were brave enough to be honest, if you were strong enough to be vulnerable, if you were wise enough to see that saving yourself and saving others were actually the same thing, the stars were still there, and so were they, still fighting, still hoping, still shining together. 2 hours later, a nurse came to get them. She's awake and asking for her mama and Elon. They rushed to the recovery room. Lily lay in bed, pale but alert, the stuffed Mars rover still clutched in her arms. Monitors beeped steadily. IV lines ran into her arm, but her eyes were open and clear. "Mama!" Her voice was hoarse from the breathing tube. Maya ran to her side, kissing her forehead, her cheeks, her hands. "Baby, you're okay. You're okay." "I had a dream," Lily said slowly. "Just like before, I saw Daddy again." Everyone went still. "What did he say?" Maya whispered. "He said, 'Good job, little star. Now get back down there and shine.'" Lily smiled weakly. "And then he pushed me like when I was little on the swings. He pushed me and I was falling and falling, and then I woke up here." That was the anesthesia, baby. Just dreams from the medicine. Maybe, but it felt real. He felt real. Lily looked at Elon. "You stayed." "I promised I would." The doctor came in already. She said the surgery worked. She said I might walk normal now, might even run. Tears rolled down Lily's temples into her hair. "Elon, I might run." "You will run, I know it." The doctor had told them Lily needed to rest, but she kept fighting sleep, kept talking like she was afraid if she closed her eyes she'd miss something important. "When I was under," Lily said, "I was thinking about that parking lot, where you and Mama met. Isn't it weird if you'd walked a different way? If Mama had quit 5 minutes earlier, if you'd been looking where you were going, none of this would have happened." "It's not weird," Elon said. "It's fate." "You believe in fate. You're a scientist." "I believe that the universe has patterns we don't always understand, and I believe some meetings are too important to be random." He sat in the chair beside her bed. 5 years ago, I thought success meant rockets and cars and changing the world through technology. But you taught me that changing the world starts with changing one person, then another, like ripples in water." "What ripples did we make?" "Your mama became a nurse. Now she helps hundreds of people every year. The programs I started at Tesla because of meeting you two, those programs have helped thousands of families. And you," he smiled, "you're going to help design the future. You're going to be one of the people who makes Mars possible." "If I can walk." "Even if you can't. Your brain is what matters, Lily. Your ideas, your determination, your ability to see solutions other people miss because you've had to adapt your whole life. That's your superpower." Lily's eyes were getting heavy. The pain medication was pulling her toward sleep. "Elon," she murmured, "promise me something." "Anything." "When you send the first people to Mars, when you're old and you've done everything you wanted to do, promise you'll remember that it started in a parking lot, with a janitor and a broken little girl. Promise you'll remember that the big things start small." "I promise I'll never forget." "Good," she yawned. "Mama, I'm tired now." "Sleep, baby. We'll be here when you wake up." Within seconds, Lily was asleep, her breathing deep and steady. The Mars rover toy tucked under her chin like a teddy bear. Maya and Elon sat on either side of her bed, watching her sleep, both thinking about the journey that had brought them here. May 2025, 18 months later. The high school track in Oakland was filled with parents and students. It was the regional championships, and schools from across the Bay Area had gathered to compete. Maya sat in the bleachers with grandmother, both wearing matching blue t-shirts that said Team Lily in English and Chinese. Elon sat beside them, wearing sunglasses and a baseball cap, trying to be inconspicuous but failing. Several people had already recognized him and asked for selfies. "There she is," Maya pointed. Lily stood with her team, stretching, preparing. She wore running shorts and a tank top, her hair pulled back in a ponytail. Her left leg was slightly thinner than her right. The muscles had never fully developed, but she stood straight and strong. It had taken a year of intense physical therapy, months of frustration and setbacks, days when she'd cried because her body wouldn't cooperate, but slowly, impossibly, she'd learned to walk normally, then to jog, then to run. Not fast, she'd never be the fastest runner, but fast enough, strong enough, brave enough. The 800-meter race was called. 8 girls lined up at the starting line. Lily was in lane 6. "She's so nervous," Maya said, clutching Elon's hand without thinking. "Look at her hands shaking." "She's got this," Elon said. "She survived brain surgery twice. A middle school track race is nothing." The starting gun fired. The girls took off. Lily started strong, keeping pace with the middle of the pack. Her form wasn't perfect. Her left arm swung slightly awkward. Her stride wasn't as smooth as the others, but she ran. She actually ran. "Geo Lily," Maya screamed, jumping to her feet. "Geo baby." Grandmother was shouting in Mandarin. Elon found himself on his feet too, yelling louder than he had at rocket launches. First lap done. Lily was in 5th place. Not winning, but not last either. Just running, fighting, pushing her rebuilt body to do what doctors had said was impossible. Second lap. She was tiring, you could see it in her face. But she didn't slow down. If anything, she pushed harder. The finish line approached. Lily crossed it in 5th place, 30 seconds behind the winner but well ahead of 3 other runners. She'd done it. She'd finished a race. On her own 2 legs. Running. The moment she crossed the finish line, Lily stopped and looked up at the sky. Her lips moved, saying something no one else could hear. Later, when Maya asked what she'd said, Lily would answer, "I told Daddy I did it. I told him I ran for both of us." After the race, they took Lily to her favorite restaurant, a small Chinese place in Hayward that reminded grandmother of home. Lily was exhausted but glowing, her 5th place ribbon pinned to her shirt. "I wasn't fast," she said between bites of dumplings. "But I finished. That's what matters." "You were amazing," Maya said. 5 years ago you couldn't walk. Today you ran 800 meters. That's not just amazing, that's miraculous." "It's not a miracle, it's just work, practice, not giving up." Lily looked at Elon. "That's what you taught me. That impossible just means it takes longer." Elon smiled. "You taught me that actually. I just repeated it back to you." Then we taught each other. That's how the best learning works. They ate and talked and laughed. Grandmother told embarrassing stories about Lily as a baby. Maya shared updates from the hospital where she now worked as a surgical nurse. Elon talked about the next Starship test flight, asking Lily's opinion on heat shield designs. To anyone watching, they looked like a normal family having dinner. A mother, daughter, grandmother, and family friends celebrating a small victory. But they weren't normal. They were extraordinary. Not because of fame or money or achievements, but because they'd survived things that should have destroyed them. And they'd done it together, supporting each other, believing in each other. As they were leaving the restaurant, Lily suddenly stopped. "Wait, I want to say something important." They gathered around her on the sidewalk outside the restaurant. The evening sun painted everything golden. "5 years ago," Lily began, "Mama met Elon by accident in a parking lot, and both of them were about to give up. Both of them were so tired and sad and scared that they couldn't see any way forward." She looked at each of them. But they saw each other, really saw each other, not as a CEO and a janitor, not as successful and struggling, just as 2 humans who needed help. And that seeing, that moment of really understanding each other, that saved both of them. And it saved me too, because if Mama had quit that night, we'd be gone. We'd be in China, or maybe Mama would have given up completely. "Baby," Maya started. "Let me finish, Mama. This is important." Lily's voice was clear and strong. "I want to say thank you. Thank you, Elon, for being vulnerable that night, for admitting you were struggling. Because that honesty gave Mama permission to keep trying. And thank you, Mama, for being brave enough to keep working, to keep believing, even when everything was impossible." She paused, emotions flooding her face. "And I want to say something to everyone who's struggling right now, everyone who thinks they can't keep going, everyone who's so tired they want to quit." "Who are you talking to?" Elon asked gently. "To the world, to the future, to the people who need to hear this. Lily looked up at the sky, where stars were beginning to appear in the darkening blue. I want them to know that the stars are still there, even when you can't see them. Even when everything is dark and hard and painful, the stars are still there. Your dreams are still there. Your future is still there. You just have to keep looking up. You just have to keep trying. You just have to remember that every night is long, but every night is also a gift. She turned back to them, tears streaming down her face, smiling through them. That's what Mama taught Elon. That's what Elon taught me. And that's what I want to teach everyone else. We're all stars, every single person. We all have light to give. And when we shine for each other, when we see each other and help each other and believe in each other, that's when impossible things become possible. Maya pulled her daughter into a tight hug. Grandmother joined them, wrapping her arms around both. And Elon, this man who'd built rockets and revolutionized industries, this man who'd been on the edge of darkness 5 years ago, wrapped his arms around all three of them. They stood there on the sidewalk in Hayward, California, 4 people who'd saved each other, who'd reminded each other what mattered, who'd proven that change starts with connection. Cars drove past. People walked by. The world kept spinning. But in that moment, in that embrace, they had everything that mattered. Love, hope, purpose, connection. The stars were coming out now, one by one, appearing in the California sky. And down on Earth, 4 stars of a different kind stood together, still shining, still fighting, still believing in tomorrow. Lily pulled back from the hug and looked up at the sky one more time. "Daddy," she whispered, so quietly only Maya could hear, "I kept my promise. I'm still dreaming. And the stars, they're still there. Just like you said. Just like they'll always be." A breeze blew gently through the street, warm and soft like a father's hand ruffling his daughter's hair. And somewhere in the universe, in the space between stars, David Chen smiled. His little girl was going to be okay. His wife was going to be okay. They'd found their way through the darkness. They'd remembered to look up. And they would keep shining for themselves, for each other, for everyone who needed a reminder that hope was still possible, that dreams were still real, that tomorrow was still worth fighting for. Because that's what stars do. They shine, even in the darkness, especially in the darkness, forever. And that was the end of this story. A story that started with a collision in a parking lot and ended with proof that broken doesn't mean finished. That struggling doesn't mean failing, that the stars are still there even when we can't see them. Maya, Lily, and Elon reminded us that the most important changes don't happen in boardrooms or laboratories. They happen in moments of honest connection between people brave enough to admit they need help. Now I want to hear from you. Where are you listening from right now? Drop your city and country in the comments below. I love knowing where our community reaches across the globe. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button. It helps more people discover stories like this, stories about hope, resilience, and human connection. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more inspiring true stories that remind us what really matters in life. We share stories every week that celebrate the strength of the human spirit. One more thing. Share this video with your friends and family. Send it to someone who needs a reminder that they're not alone in their struggles. Someone who needs to hear that the stars are still there. Because kindness multiplies when we share it and awareness grows when we spread it together. Remember, every night is long, but every night is also a gift. Keep shining, keep believing, keep looking up. Until next time.